Okay.
Okay.
Yes, I am myself again.
I am me now, hopefully.
You are.
Okay, or are they both Bakari now?
Everyone is Bakari now. I'm taking over.
No.
It's like it's the third impact is happening, and everybody's turning into the weird ghost rays. You know.
Yeah, except it's you.
Except it's me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which I think is a considerable downgrade, but you know.
Bakari.
Bakari Ayanami
Bakari, yeah.
is here all along.
That could have been your forum name in like 2004.
Yeah, it could have been. I remember. That's a fun topic. What was your first online handle?
Legend of Stew.
That's good.
Yeah.
That sounds like a legacy YouTuber. Like you were you guessed it on the Fine Bros in 2010 or something.
And I just stuck with it forever.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you know, and the funny thing too with it was my parents didn't want like my family was always like kind of technophobes.
Yeah.
And so they didn't let me have an email until I was like 13, 14 years old, which would be around 2004-ish.
Yeah.
So prior to getting an email, I was like thinking about what I wanted my email to be, like a huge fucking dork.
Of course.
So yeah, so I had Legend of Stew for a long time.
Yeah.
Now it's just so full of spam, I don't even use it for anything.
I remember, like, I have a distinct memory of, like, we got dial-up when I was, like, 10 or 11 or something like that. So that was, like, my first time getting email. And because we were just kind of late on the game in that regard, I guess. But I remember my dad was helping me set up my first email. And he was like, what do you want your email to be? And I tried a couple that were completely taken, of course, and then
Bakari 1,
Bakari 1, Bakari 2,
Bakari 3.
Yeah, my first name, like first initial, last name, and he was like, "That's mine."
Damn, Dad got you on the email.
My dad, his name is not Bakari, but his name does start with a B. So so every time I try to sign up for something and I use B last name at whatever, then it's like already taken. I'm like, Dad.
Dang. Your dad, Bobby, really got you.
Exactly. My dad. I love the idea of my dad is named Bobby, and he goes like, "What's this kid gonna be? We're gonna call him Bakari."
Bakari.
Yeah.
Kind of sounds like Bobby, right?
Yeah. He coughed when he said we should name him Bakari, and they're like Bakari, sure, and he's like, too late to change it now.
Yeah, they wrote it down. They can't change it.
Yeah, I had to make up my grandfather. That was his name. Just
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that was my grandpa's name. That wasn't just a freak accident at all. But no, so I tried a few that were taken, and then I was playing a lot of Worms at the time, the Worms computer games.
Yeah.
And one of them's called Worms Armageddon. I didn't even know what the word meant, but I was like, yeah, Armageddon, why not? And he's like, Armageddon at Lancet.com. Sure, fuck it, why not? My dad was like so done with it at that point. And that was also taken, but it was like, would you like to try that? It gave me a suggestion. It was like, how about Armageddon 666? And I was like, yes! And my dad was like, absolutely not.
Oh.
So I ended up becoming Shinobi at Lancet.com instead.
Wow, dude, you went through like a whole range of like dorky fucking username.
Yeah, I was
all in
the
like an
lamest 12-year-old in existence, or 11 or whatever.
Did you ever really use like anime forum sites or anything like that?
I was on Game FAQs, like that forum, a ton, and there were anime discussions and stuff like that. And then afterwards, I was on a lot of like video game interest forums. Like I was on a lot of like Sprite, you remember 8-Bit Theater?
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah, like I was on those forums a lot. I was really into like webcomics and Sprite comics as a kid.
Because 8-Bit Theater was like, did they do like a Final Fantasy webcomic?
That was the one, yeah.
Sprites?
Yeah. It was a Sprite comic for like, it used Final Fantasy 1 sprites. And like Black Mage was like kind of a sadist, but also kind of a wimp. And Red Mage was a huge nerd, and Fighter was really stupid and stuff like that. Yeah.
I remember I was like looking at some like old webcomics the other day, and I was like, man, whatever happened to this stuff? This used to be the thing. It's like, oh, the internet got good.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
yeah. People found better things to fucking do on the internet.
Like you can watch videos, you know?
I could watch a guy eat 10 McChickens if I want to. I don't know what I'm gonna fucking do with this. You know what? This could get me beat up and shoved in a locker. Questionable content, the long running webcomic.
Oh, barely.
Yeah,
it's too long ago.
There's nothing else you need to know beyond it's a long running webcomic. I am current on that webcomic.
Jesus Christ,
I
dude.
stopped liking it forever ago, but like for some reason, because I read like all the I read fucking fucking 3-Panel Soul and fucking Control Alt Delete. I saw Lost live, you know, like the day it came out.
Wow. Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah. But like for some reason, questionable content, maybe I'll miss a few days, but then like I'll type a URL and it'll be like, you want to go to questionablecontent.net? And I'm like, yeah, sure. And I'll take the 2 minutes it takes to catch up, and then I'm like, okay. So yeah,
I can't believe it's still going.
It's still going. And consistent. Like I don't remember the last time that guy missed a day.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's buck wild.
It's not like, no hate. Like Jeff Jacks seems like a really cool guy and all that. I don't think it's very good. Like now, especially, I'm like every new strip, I'm like, yeah, that's a decision to make, I guess. Mm-hmm. Like they just introduced a new character, and her whole thing is she's like a complete fuck up, and like keeps, when someone is like trying to be self-deprecating in a funny way, but it just comes across as really sad. Yeah. She is that made manifest, and it's just like, come on, man.
I can't deal with that.
Come on, man. Rule of 3 is that shit, okay? You get to do that 3 times. We're on like 17 now. It's too much. I'm complaining about a fucking 20-year-old webcomic on our podcast.
You're in too deep. You're in too deep.
Yeah.
Hey, speaking of getting in too deep, you want to do the intro now?
Hey, yeah.
We're like 5 minutes later.
Yeah.
You want to do the intro or me?
Yeah, I'll do the intro.
All right.
All right. Welcome back to Battle School Dropouts, a podcast about anime and friendship, and the last thing you will see in here before we fucking get you. My name is Bakari.
Oh, shit. And I'm terrified. I'm Stew.
I'm kidding. You have at least several weeks, but we will get you. You will die by our hands. Yeah, it's the new year.
Actually, you're right. It's 2024, and yeah, I'm thinking I'm back. It's the Battle School Dropouts.
I'm thinking I'm back in 2024.
2024.
New year, new me.
Yeah,
but I'm back also.
Let's celebrate new episode of the new year.
Indeed.
I have sake that was left behind by Keanu Reeves at the job that I work at. So by extension, this is Keanu Reeves' sake.
The man himself.
The man himself. It's almost like meeting the guy.
Almost. Which you did. You did meet Keanu Reeves.
I did meet him very, very briefly.
Yeah. Which is cool.
Yeah. He seemed so tired.
Oh, I bet.
Like, I'm still getting a photo.
I'm exhausted after I played a show on Friday, and probably wasn't nearly as intensive as the
Dogstar. Dogstar is Keanu Reeves' band.
I'm like dog face, dog tail, dog paw.
Dog man.
Yeah, Dog the Bounty Hunter.
Dog the Bounty Hunter, the band.
Yeah. But yeah, I played a show on Friday that wasn't nearly as intensive as what he was doing, and I was fucking wiped like after that and like most of yesterday.
Yeah. It's a good thing that you had like a recovery day.
Yeah.
Before.
He was on tour, I'm pretty sure. Like he just kept going.
Yeah. Well, and it was a funny show because like they were decent. It's not quite my genre, but I was like, not bad.
Yeah.
But the funniest part was everyone was clearly there for Keanu Reeves.
Yeah.
Like,
I didn't hear Dogstar is in town. I heard Keanu Reeves' band is in town,
And it was something I'd never seen before, where at the theater, it's all seats.
Yeah.
And then at a certain point in the show, they played like a few songs, and then the band was like, hey, if you guys want to come up here, feel free. And everybody rushed up to like towards the stage. But I would say 2/3 of the audience was on the side that Keanu Reeves was on.
Yeah.
So and it's funny. He doesn't have a mic. He plays bass, and I've never seen so many people so excited for the bassist in a band. Like the bassist is important, but like even bassist would have been like nobody gives a shit about the bassist.
Yeah. Unless it's like I feel like Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Yeah,
that's the one I can name of those 3. I think. Yeah.
Yeah. Flea.
And the other 2.
Oh,
and the guy who sings about California a lot.
Yeah, the singer's like Anthony, or I'm gonna say it's Anthony Kiedis.
Anthony Kiedis.
I bet I'm right.
I'm not gonna look it up.
Yeah, I can't.
Our phones are
the cameras. We can't look it up. So
yeah, so by default, you're right. That's how it works.
You can put that on Wikipedia. Stu said that the singer is Anthony Kiedis. Wow. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good. I was telling you briefly, but I had a really rough start to the year.
Oh, fuck, me too, man.
Yeah, because we both got sick. So like the New Year's Day, we all got together. We watched all the Twilight movies, which was a real adventure.
Yeah. Fucking a real adventure is one way of putting it.
Yeah, they were fun to start.
Honestly, I had an amazing time watching all 5 Twilight movies.
Yeah.
But by the end of it, I was so drunk, and I was like, "What the fuck is happening?"
Much like when we did the Resident Evil movies a couple of years back, and
yeah,
like,
all 7 of those.
yeah. Was there 7?
There's 7. I'm pretty sure.
I thought it was 6. But
Yeah.
Jesus, too fucking many.
Too fucking many.
And I remember, like, I had a great time throughout. Don't get me wrong, that was a wonderful day. But like, I just get so mad at the end of these movies here because they're so fucking bad. The last Resident Evil movie is dog shit. Oh my god! Like they make every fucking and like look, I love bad movies. We love bad movies.
Yeah, totally.
Right? But like you're taking the fun things about your bad movie and just ripping them out in the first 15 minutes, and it's like you still have an hour and a half to go. Fucko, get ready. It's like why?
The guy who partially inspired this was a YouTuber that goes by Mecha Gamezilla. Like he reviewed all 7 of those movies. And the way he put it was like, it's a film series that actively punishes you for paying attention.
Yeah, that is exactly what it is. That is exactly what and like Twilight, I don't know if it actively punishes us for paying attention, but like at least it would have rewarded us for not paying attention because that last one, Jesus Christ.
Not on the same level, but yeah, that last one, It felt like The Last Jedi in terms of like it's just jamming so much stuff in there.
And so much stuff that doesn't fucking matter. They're like, we got Remy Malek's here and he's the Avatar for some reason. And we got all these other vampires with all these special powers. This lady's got taser hands and this one can, I don't fucking remember the rest of it. But like, then none of it fucking mattered.
Well, spoilers for Twilight, but like after Bella and Edward get married, that's kind of the end of the story.
It is. The rest of it's just like a weird fever dream.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure there's like 2.5 movies after they get married, basically, right?
Yeah.
Like they get married in the 3rd movie of 5, right?
They get married. Wait, so there's 4. They get married in the beginning of the 4th movie, I think. Like in the first 20 minutes.
So you're right. So yeah, so the last book / last 2 movies feel like an epilogue.
Yeah.
You know, what could have been a few, like 10 pages.
Yeah.
You know? No, boy.
And that whole story, like, it had its ups and downs, but I thought it was, like, mostly fine, if not good at parts. But, like, God, Breaking Dawn and Breaking Dawn 2 or whatever just didn't need to happen. You could have taken the wedding scene, stuck it at the end of the 3rd movie, Eclipse, and been done.
Well,
dust your hands off. Hey, that's a trilogy. Let's call it. And
let's call it.
But we needed 2 more whole fucking movies.
I know, dude. And and then like, and barely anything is happening in the movies too, because there's like the character who keeps running south from Canada, and then they catch on to that she's doing that, and then they chase her back to Canada.
Yeah,
and that's what the villain does for like 2 movies.
She's just hopping the border back and forth, like, oh, can't get me. Out of your jurisdiction.
Out of your jurisdiction. Can't get me, America. Yeah.
That was what a time. I mean, I had a great day. That was a lot of fun.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, great way to start. Anyways, so we started out the year with Twilight.
Oh yeah.
And then we got sick.
We both got sick.
Unrelated, hopefully.
Hopefully. Like I remember Felicia, friend of the show, my girlfriend, et cetera, probably be on the next episode.
Not friend of the show, though she is my girlfriend.
Yeah, enemy of the show, but you know. No, she was like, oh, I think I'm coming down with something, a couple of days later. And I was like, oh, bummer. And then like maybe the next day, Wednesday, Thursday, whatever, I was feeling it. And then Friday comes around, I'm definitely getting sick. And that's a problem because I had a ticket to the Sonic Symphony in San Francisco.
Oh, no. So you missed the Sonic?
Yeah. So like I was like, I tested a couple of times. It wasn't COVID. Physically, I felt like I was capable of going.
Can we get a moment of silence just real quick for the fact that you didn't get to go to a Sonic Symphony?
It broke me a little bit. It was really rough. Oh yeah, silence.
Okay, everybody got to let that settle in. Okay, so you missed the Sonic Symphony.
Yeah, so Saturday rolls around, my cold or whatever is in full swing, and I'm like, I could physically go, like I'm capable of driving to San Francisco and sitting in a seat, but like that would be super irresponsible of me, even if it is just a little cold. Like I don't want to do that. I had gotten the fan shield, like it's like insurance for your ticket essentially, like so you can if you can't make it for whatever reason, your car breaks down, whatever, you can get your money back. That is a complete scam, actually.
No.
So in order to submit a claim, it has to be like a serious injury or illness. Like it has to be like
you gotta have a fucking doctor's note.
You actually have to submit a doctor's note. Yeah.
No fucking way.
Yeah. Like even if I was looking it up, even if it was COVID and I had gotten like a doctor's like a positive COVID test, they wouldn't have taken that.
You gotta fucking like show up like, here's my hand removed from my arm.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah, something like it. And I'm like, I don't think the bug that I had was like serious enough to like qualify for that.
That's
and
so
even if
fucked up.
Like even if it was like, I mean, I have insurance, but a doctor's visit copay is like still more than it's
yeah.
At that point, I'm getting like $20 back. You know what I mean?
I went to a doctor one time because to take at my old job. To take more than like 2 days off sick, you needed a doctor's note.
Oh, no way.
So I went in because my throat was fucked.
Yeah.
And the doctor checked out my throat and was like, "Nah, you'll be fine. Yeah, no, you should be good." It sent me at home. I was in there all of like, I saw a doctor for all of like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Right. Fucking got a bill for $400.
$400.
It cost me. So basically, it cost me $400. My insurance covered none of it.
Jesus.
For a doctor's note, so I could take a third day off.
Yeah.
Without issue.
Were you able to take that third day off?
I'm pretty sure, but like,
even still, fuck that.
Fuck that.
Yeah.
Dude. Yeah. When I got sick again, I was like, I'm not going to a doctor.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I cannot afford it. You don't pay me enough, and your insurance doesn't cover doctor visits.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like because I used to have Kaiser and it was just the worst. Like ever since I was a kid, if I came in for anything at all, like I could have fucking broken my leg and like the doctor would have been like, "You're fine, lose weight." And, like, that would have been the end of it. You know, my doctor now is like legit. The last time I went into Kaiser was for like I was pretty certain I was developing carpal tunnel, and he like kind of looked at it and he was just like, "Go back to work, lose weight." Like that was it. It was just like it immediately became a conversation about like how I needed to lose weight and and I needed to get tested for diabetes or whatever. And I was like, "Buddy, I've been getting tested for diabetes. Like I've done that several times in my life because of dipshits like you. I do not have diabetes."
Yeah. I get it. A lot of issues are related to being overweight.
Sure. And like that's something I'm working on.
So
right?
fucking funny.
But that's been my
You're
whole
not
existence.
sick, you're overweight.
Yeah.
You like do that all the time. Man, doctors have it fucking easy. You went to school for 8 years to tell somebody
do that?
To do that?
Yeah. You did a whole internship and residency and everything. You just watched somebody else tell people to fucking lose weight and then you're like, "Yeah, I think I can do that."
It's so hard being a doctor. I have to work 14-hour days where I tell people that they're overweight.
How they made fucking 30 seasons of Grey's Anatomy. How do they even like how do you fill up that much fucking airtime?
Fucking House is out there just being like, "What's wrong with this doctor?" "Yeah, we can't piece it together. Is it lymphoma? Is it?" No, they're just overweight.
They're just fat.
They're just overweight. Test them for diabetes.
I'm addicted to painkillers. I play the piano really well. My name's Gregory House. Lose weight. That's the whole show.
It's not lupus. It's that I'm overweight.
Exactly. But so I was like, all right, fuck it. I'm just out $100. It is what it is. So Saturday night, I am fucking bummed. Like I'm just sitting there. I'm playing Final Fantasy X. I'm like checking Twitter to see my fucking mutuals posing with Jun Senoway, the composer of like Sonic Adventure and Adventure 2 and Heroes and a bunch of other ones. And I'm just like, today sucks. This weekend sucks. I'm sick. This is all terrible. And then
Sucks being sick on the weekend.
Yeah.
On top of all of that.
Exactly. Yeah, that's the fucking worst. It's one thing if I could. Oh, I did end up taking a couple days off of work, but sort of unrelated because so it's about dinner time. Felicia's hungry. I'm hungry. Certainly nobody's up to cooking. So I'm like, all right, it's DoorDash. There's this Mongolian place we've been to many times before. Got some noodle bowls from there. Tasted fine, everything. Next day I wake up. Tummy's not feeling so great. Whatever. I beat Final Fantasy X that morning. in between trips to the bathroom.
Seems like the day's gonna start okay.
Yeah, I'm like, hey, you know what is what I'm just gonna chill in bed, whatever. And a couple hours later, I realize like, oh, I have food poisoning. I certainly have food poisoning. And a couple hours after that, I'm like, I don't just have food poisoning. I have the worst food poisoning I've ever had. I was running to the bathroom every 15 minutes. I was puking. Everything was awful. And like, I had this like searing headache and everything. I did nothing. I slept like the rest of the day. And then like was pretty out of commission the following day and mostly the day after that. Like that took me out.
Are you sure it was food poisoning? Are you sure you're not just overweight and we need to test you for diabetes?
Well, I mean, who knows, right?
Sorry, I'm going to med school again.
Oh, congratulations! Yeah.
I need more school.
The fat shaming class is really paying off.
Dude, yeah, it's actually every class. It's weird.
Yeah, how about that?
But no, that sucks.
Yeah,
that sucks to be sick and then get extra sick.
Yeah, because that's the thing. Like my cold didn't just go away. Yeah. I was just also dealing with like horrible stomach pain and everything. It was so bad, I was like scared of food the rest of the week. Like even cooking myself, I was just like, yo, what if this chicken is bad? Like what if these frozen tater tots have fucking E. coli or whatever? Like
these hot Cheetos could be the death of me.
Yeah, I was legit like, I cannot even possibly encounter the risk of this ever happening again right now.
That it's so wild being like scared of food as well, because it's not like, oh man, I can't drink tequila.
Yeah.
You know, like, oh, I just got to avoid that one. It's like, no, that's like one of the core things you need to stay alive.
Totally.
You know?
Yeah. Like I needed food, but every time I was just like, I got to be so careful.
Oh, that sucks, man.
I'm pretty sure the thing that did it was because like Felicia and I both ate the food and like I was the only one who got it. But I got this little side thing. It was like a flatbread with chives, like kind of like a puffy tortilla sort of deal. And I'm pretty like that was the thing I ate that Felicia didn't, so like I think that might have been it, or like I got beef, she got chicken, maybe it was the beef, I don't know. But
yeah, I mean, I feel like you usually get it from. I mean, I don't know shit about food poisoning.
Yeah,
but like, I feel like you get it from meat stuff,
meat and dairy, or
like vegetables, like if you get like E. coli or whatever.
Yeah,
you know? But like the bread.
Well, like I said, it had chives in it. Like maybe they were just super rotten or something. Or like my mom had the idea, like if it used eggs, I don't know, maybe the eggs were bad or whatever.
Because you don't have some weird like food allergy or something.
Zero. I have no food allergies that I know of.
Okay.
Yeah, I eat all sorts of garbage just fine.
Yeah, except for that day.
Except for that day, yeah, that was the worst it's ever got. But
because I was gonna say we eat trash.
Yeah,
all the time,
like regularly. But yeah, I was like, I'm still like, even now, like I was watching a video. There's this video of this like German, like, or maybe Swiss, I don't know, like housewife lady who just like cooks kind of weird recipes. Everything's in German. It's just very, very, you know,
I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, I don't know. Like there's English subtitles for like the recipe, but like that's about it. And like she makes some weird stuff, but whatever. She was making something and then she flips it and it looked kind of like the thing that I ate and I had to turn it off.
Oh, no, you're like food traumatized.
Actually, though, yeah, like the real problem is like I'm not exactly sure what the difference is between chives, green onions, and spring onions. If there is a difference, maybe those are all the same thing. I don't know. I can't eat or look at any of those things.
Somebody's gonna be like, hey, you want to get Mongolian barbecue, and you're gonna have like the flashbang sound go off.
Dude, legit, I ordered something completely different on DoorDash yesterday, and that Mongolian want to order from here again, and I was legit, I like had to take a second. I was like, I found out you can't blacklist a restaurant on DoorDash.
Oh, you can't block?
No, yeah, you can't be like, I'm not interested, no thank you. So every time I open DoorDash, it's like, you want this Mongolian place? I'm like, I can't avoid it. It's just right there.
I know. Well,
I got fucking Instagram ads for it afterwards.
Well, especially since you've eaten there a few times and been like fine and all that.
Yeah,
you know?
This was my second time ordering from there, but I've been to the building like plenty of times. Been just fine. So it was one of my favorite Mongolian places.
That's brutal.
It was really rough.
That's so brutal.
But yeah, like that's all behind me. The rest of this month has been pretty good so far. So just getting the bad juju out of the way.
Yeah, that's kind of the way I'm putting it. Is like January's. I haven't had an awful January, but I have been like sick and stuff like that. Yeah. And like I'm just kind of hoping like get the bad vibes out now.
Exactly.
Good vibes later.
Yeah, we're just making space for all the good shit that happens, you know.
Yeah, I got sick last week basically, and I was out for like a few days. And whenever I get sick in the past, I was always like, oh, I'll just watch YouTube, I'll just sleep and rest, and I was like, fuck that.
Yeah,
Like I got sick on my day off, and then I had to call out of work the next day. I'm like, if I'm doing all that, I am making the most of it.
I'm gonna have some fun, goddammit.
So I'm like, I'm gonna watch some movies that I've been meaning to watch.
Yeah.
You know? And for some reason, I decided the movies that I should watch are The Meg, Meg 2, The Trench, and fucking Taken.
And Taken.
One
of these is not like the others.
Well, they didn't have a Meg 3 was the problem.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, and I just watched all of them. I was like,
They do have a Meg 3. It's Megan.
it's Megan, excuse me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Meg,
Well, I guess
the Meg 2, Megan.
Kind of a weird continuity. There's a lot that happens. You have to play the MMO to see what happens between Meg 2 and Meg 3.
I fucking should have just watched Megan. Man, I watched Taken when I was like 18 or whatever, and I thought that movie was like the height of action. Like Liam Neeson punching dudes in the throat. I was like, this is so cool. And then I rewatched it. I was like, this is fucking boring. Like I live in a post The Raid John Wick world.
I think The Raid already existed when Taken came out. Right.
Well, but I didn't live in
your
that
world is now post The Raid. I see.
Post The Raid Redemption.
Yeah.
I think The Raid was in when I was. I'm gonna say The Raid. It doesn't fucking matter when The Raid came out. I should have watched The Raid. I should have watched. I wanted to watch John Wick Part 4, but like, it's like streaming if you have stars. Who the fuck has stars?
I feel like maybe they just added the 3, like John Wick 1 through 3. I think they just added to Netflix.
They did.
I don't think. Yeah,
which
4's
got
not
me
on
thinking
there,
about it, which is probably why I watched Taken, because I'm like,
sense.
oh, that's kind of like that. Oh, and speaking of John Wick, as a slight segue, I also watched the new movie, The Beekeeper with Jason Statham.
Oh, how was that?
Fucking ruled, dude.
Really?
Yeah. Like I'm not gonna say it's like a good movie per se.
Sure.
But it is like, imagine John Wick, but if you replaced the style that John Wick has with like people just not shutting the fuck up about bees.
I mean,
and like there's something there, right?
Yeah.
I don't think more than 30 seconds pass without somebody saying the words bee or hive or honey.
That makes
like they say it to an absurd level. It is insane.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, everybody's got to watch The Beekeeper.
That makes me think of, there's like a TikTok or whatever account of a lady. She's got like a really unique voice, and she's like a beekeeper. Like that's her thing. And like
POV, I'm the beekeeper.
Yeah, pretty much. She'll go to different like people will call like, oh, we have this bee infestation here, and we want to like get rid of them. We don't want to kill them. And so she comes in and like takes them back to her beehive place.
Okay.
And she has this sort of like monotone sort of way of describing, like, I got a call from a local department store that said they had an infestation of bees set up in their dumpster area. So I brought all my equipment and I located the queen, and I took the queen and put her in this containment unit, and the rest of the bees knew to follow suit. And she always like ends her videos with, and it was another great day of saving the bees. And I'm like, I feel like it's kind of a waste if they didn't get her to cameo in that movie, like even just for a line.
Oh yeah, I mean I wouldn't be able to recognize, but you're dead on.
Yeah, maybe they did and you just didn't know it. I guess we got to watch The Beekeeper again.
I guess so. Yeah. I'm gonna keep an eye out for her. It sucks that bees are so important.
It does suck because I don't like bees.
I'm not crazy about bees. Anything that like can fucking hurt me. I like bees in the, like. I really like I think they call them like social insects or whatever.
Sure, yeah, like ants and stuff.
I think that stuff's super cool about how they work together, about how like they seem to like view whatever. Super, super cool. And I think that like the fact that like bees go out and scout stuff and then they come back and they do a little dance and they're like competing to see who scouted the best.
Yeah.
Essentially, like
I found some dope ass flowers over this way.
So glad we had the camera set up for that one. So it's like, I think all that stuff is really cool, but I haven't been stung by a bee in years, but I can still remember the last time I got stung by a bee.
Sucks.
That shit sucks, man.
I remember this is like a fascinating thing to me still. I was in Boy Scouts when I was younger, and we were on a camping trip. I must have been, I don't know, 13, something like that. And so we're a bunch of 13-year-old boys in the wilderness. No good can come of this, right? And we're all hanging out. It's kind of like free time. We're into to tie knots or whatever. And we find this like crag in the ground, like it's a very rocky area. And there's a bunch of big rocks and there's a big crag in the ground, like just this, it's wide enough, like narrow enough you could jump over, but like also dangerous enough, you know? And we find a bunch of big rocks nearby. And as, you know, stupid teenagers do, we're like, what if we throw rocks into the big crag there? And so we're all just like, taking rocks,
big crag that happens to be buzzing and humming.
Yeah.
For no reason.
It wasn't yet.
Oh, okay.
But so like we're all chucking rocks, whatever. And this kid, his name was Jordan. He finds a big rock, like size of a frisbee type rock. You know what I mean?
Oh boy.
And
Jordan.
He's like, oh, I got to one up all these other kids. And he takes this big rock and he chucks it in there. And we're all like, whoa, that was awesome. And when the rock hits, we hear this big crack. And all of a sudden, a fuckload of bees come out of this crate. And we all ran. Each and every bee went straight for Jordan. And they got his ass so bad.
It's like they knew.
They knew.
They could smell like his fucking hands on that rock.
I did not get a single sting. I'm pretty sure Jordan ran faster than me. I did not get stung once.
That's crazy,
dude.
What?
Right? It's like when you find a beehive in Animal Crossing, you know, and they all just like come and get you and leave. Like that was it. They just fucking jumped him and then they were gone.
They like pulled him out by his underwear, hung him from a tree.
Yeah.
God, is
all throwing shit at him, you know.
Yeah.
How do you like it?
How do you feel?
Yeah, that was an insane time. The rest of us completely unscathed. No, the bees did not have any interest in us whatsoever.
They got a fucking system figured out, man.
They're dancing. It's like as like mid-flight, you know. It's that one. Go get him.
Yeah.
I can't get away from
yeah, they're doing a little dance or whatever. Yeah, I just hate that they're like important, you know?
Yeah.
Like agriculture dies without bees. I'm just like, come on. We couldn't have figured out something by now.
Yeah.
We gotta have bees.
Are wasps also important to the ecosystem? Because wasps are the worst.
I'm gonna go with a solid no.
They better not be.
Like I don't know if they're as bad as mosquitoes. Like mosquitoes, if every mosquito died today, the world would be fine.
I think so. Like frogs would probably be unhappy about it.
Yeah, they wouldn't
frogs
be jazzed,
and spiders.
but you know, other stuff would take their place.
Yeah, they would make do.
I don't know if wasps are on the same level, but they could be. And the issue with wasps too is like now that there's like invasive wasps in different countries and all that, like that fucks up things.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's tough.
It's crazy. I think wasps are like they do something with the only reason I even have this notion is because I watch a fuckload of Veep, and there's an episode where the very unlikable character Jonah is at a wedding, and he's talking to one of the other main characters, and he's like I'm just I don't really know anybody here. I'm just here to score some action, right? Like it's the women at weddings are low-hanging fruit, and I am a sex wasp, my friend. So I'm like, do wasps have something to do with the whole pollination, spreading fruit type process?
I think
because I would resent them for being useful.
There's certain fruits that they'll like fuck up.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure. Like they'll burrow inside of and make useless.
Oh, well then fuck them again, I guess.
Yeah, I they must do something, but again, I wouldn't be surprised if they were in the mosquito category of animals that could just fucking die.
Yeah, and I recognize that it's a little shitty to categorize the value of life based on how useful it is to us. But also fuck wasps and mosquitoes.
Yeah, I guess the one thing you can say about wasps is like they suck, but it's not the end of the world. Like mosquitoes spread disease.
They do.
You know, like mosquitoes are actively harmful, whereas like wasps are like, well, this sucks.
Yeah.
You know?
But very like relatively few people die of wasp attacks, I think.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
I think the big issue with wasps is that they'll kill honeybees and stuff like that.
Oh, and we like honeybees.
Yeah. Well, and, you know, again, this is this is a podcast where we recognize the usefulness of bees. However, we don't like them. However, yeah, wasps kill the shit out of bees.
Yeah, but if ever there was a bee I was gonna like, it's honeybees. Partially because I like honey, and partially because I watched the whole bee movie when they posted it on Twitter.
You almost watched it twice, if I recall correctly.
Like 1.5 times. Like I got a good amount through it, and I was like, I cannot watch the bee movie twice in one sitting today. I need to go do something else, and I had to turn it off. But I had to like force myself to do it.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I feel you.
Was the lady trying to fuck Barry the bee?
I gotta watch the movie.
You gotta
watch the movie.
Yeah, it's something.
Yeah. I gotta watch the movie or download the script and watch it through some kind of meme or something.
Yeah, just watch one of those, like, it gets faster every time they say the word bee type thing. You'll be done in 5 minutes.
Oh fuck! They should do that with Beekeeper, dude. That movie would be so quick.
I bet that's gonna happen if it hasn't happened already.
Oh, Beekeeper's the next bee movie meme.
Should have got Jerry Seinfeld in it.
Oh, Jerry Seinfeld and Jason Statham, what a combo.
the two J's.
The two J's, my JJs. So while I was sick, so that was day one. I watched Meg 2, Taken.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, I'm living in the year 3000 right now.
Oh, not much to say, but they live underwater.
Yeah, exactly.
The other J, Jonas Brothers.
I've developed gills. No, there's so I got a new TV for Christmas.
Yeah.
Really happy about it. Really
very nice.
And it lets me stream games to it via the Xbox Cloud.
That's right.
Gaming thing.
Yeah.
And I fucking love it. So I don't have an Xbox. I don't have a console, anything like that. I just have a Ethernet cable going into the back of my TV.
Yeah.
And I can play a ton of games on that catalog there. So I decided to, because I played through Halo 1 through 3 on Legendary by myself a few years ago, and I was like, I'm going to replay through 4. I'm going to experience 5.
Yeah.
Because they're both on there. 4, when I played it initially, hated that game. Going back through it again, I see what they're going. It feels weird that they're trying to make the Master Chief sad and tell this story about this sad Master Chief man. But by the time it 3 games later, I'm like, oh, I get it now.
He's sad for a good reason.
He's sad for a decent reason.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the funny thing. So played through 4, which I was like, I liked it more than I did initially.
Yeah.
Played through 5, which I've never touched in my life. And 5 is rough. 5's real.
Oh, that's a bad one.
Yeah, yeah. Or I should say, to use the cool hip vernacular, it's extremely mid.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
yeah.
We talk about a lot on the podcast, like mediocre valley, right?
Right.
I think Sniper Wolf talks about that. Or Super Eye Patch Wolf, not Sniper Wolf. Very different, very different person. Got my wolves mixed up.
I love that idea of Sister Sniper Wolf talking
Sniper
about
Wolf,
that.
Yeah,
she's reacting.
She's doing
to
all
the
these
Super
reaction
Eye Patch
videos,
Wolf
and then every once in a while is so mediocre valley. Yeah, it falls right in there.
That's a shame.
It's rough. There's some good ideas, and it's not like you can play through it. I got through it, and it's not like I ever clipped through a wall or an objective ever failed. But it just isn't fun.
That's a shame. I actually,
and the story's
really bad.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, the issue with the story is nothing happens until the very end of the game.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I read The Fall of Reach in middle school or something.
Same.
Yeah.
Oh, Halo boys.
That's the only thing I know about the story though. I've played Halo 2 and 3, the campaign, couldn't tell you a single fucking thing that happened.
Yeah.
I started Halo 1's campaign, I just never got that far in it.
Well, and that's the thing. Halos 1, 2, and 3, you can kind of just play those games and get a half decent story out of it. The problems with 4, 5, and kind of 6, though.
6 being infinite, or is there
6 being infinite?
Okay,
I should say. Yeah. The problem with those games is, especially 5. For some reason, it's just everyone who's playing the campaign read all the books.
Oh yeah, of course.
Right?
We're all
read all the
Halo
books, watched
lore
all
scholars.
Played all the side things, all that jazz. Because there are just characters who show up, and I'm like, who the fuck is this? Or there's if you ever played Halo ODST, there's the Nathan Fillion character.
That's
who's
right.
in it. He's all of a sudden a Spartan. And it's like, who the fuck how did that happen? What the fuck's going on here?
He got like promoted, you know.
Yeah.
Used to be had to be like, you know, trained from birth or whatever. But nowadays it's just
And I was gonna say, you and I are in the same boat. We read Fall of Reeves, which was about child soldiers, you know, and all that. And it's like, Nathan Fillion wasn't a child soldier. How did they make him into a big tough guy?
Yeah.
Yeah, so 5 really expects you to have read the books. So anyways, played through 5. Fucking not great. And I'm like, and then Halo Infinite's kind of open world in its design.
Oh, okay.
And I'm not a big open world guy, so I'm like, I'll play it for a bit. I'll see what the deal is. Move on with my life if it sucks.
Yeah.
Halo Infinite's really fucking good. Like, I don't understand how nobody's talking about this campaign. Like, it's so good.
Really?
Yeah. And like the story, I was starting to have some beef with the story, and then it started to explain itself a little bit better. Pretty good. And there's some sad Master Chief moments that for the first time I'm like, I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sad for you, John.
Yeah. Like, I understand that you're like a fucked up child soldier and all that stuff. And like there's different characters in it who kind of play off of that stuff. And it's like, I'm not going to say it's great, but it works pretty well.
Yeah.
So anyways, get out there. Play fucking Halo Infinite.
Guess I got to give that a try. I didn't actually know there was a Halo 5. I remember 4, I remember Reach, I remember ODST. I don't think I've ever touched Halo 5.
Well, so the problem with 5 is you can only play it if you have an Xbox whatever and
Xbox One, the previous
Xbox One, or you might be able to play it on the Series X is the current one.
Yeah, that one's got like, of all the consoles, that's got like the best backwards compatibility. So I'm pretty sure like any game that's come out on an Xbox console, you can probably play on it.
The whole time I was playing 5, I thought to myself every once in a while, like, I don't know what console this came out on. I know it wasn't 360, but I cannot name what console is, because they fucking named their games or the consoles like shit, dude.
Yeah. Xbox 360 into the Xbox One into the Xbox Series X. Like, Xbox Series X is just a shitty fucking name.
Terrible. Like, PlayStation 5 is maybe kind of a tacky name, but holy shit, can I keep track of which consoles which?
Yeah.
You know?
Just got the number there. PlayStation 4, I know exactly which one that is.
Like, I have to struggle sometimes to be like, I don't know the current Xbox console. And it was Xbox One. Did they call it that?
Yeah. There was the Xbox One X and then the Xbox One S, I think.
S, and the Series X as well.
And then they have the Series X and Series S. I feel so bad for every like American mom who had to try and find a fucking Xbox Series X for their kid at like, you know, Christmas time or whatever. That must have been. How many of them bought an Xbox One X instead? You know, got to be at least a few. Like,
seriously, Halo Infinite, I don't know what console it's on.
My only experience with it has been
Series X.
It's got to be that.
Yeah. My experience has been PC.
Yeah. Crazy. So much Halo.
Yeah. Anyways, so Halo 5. So the issue is it's only out on whatever Xbox console. And then this cloud gaming thing. It's not out on Steam or PC. You can
because I've played it on PC. Halo Infinite.
No, not Infinite. Sorry, Halo 5.
Oh, 5. My bad.
That's why I think like very few people have kind of experienced that game is because like it's not in the Master Chief collection and it's not Infinite.
Yeah.
Like for some reason it never got a Steam release, and I get it. It's not good. Nobody's like clamoring. Nobody's clamoring for the Halo 5 re-release.
But it's like, it's the flagship, like, because Microsoft is, you know, like really closed the gap between like PC and Xbox. Like they kind of work in synergy now. But like, Halo is like the Xbox series, you know, that's the one that people know the Xbox for. Totally. So like, how is it not available on PC?
Yeah. And it's unfortunate too, because there are some big plot points that happen in Halo Infinite that are you kind of need to know how Halo 5 ended.
Yeah.
Like nothing happened in that story until the end, but you need to know that end. So.
Something blows up, somebody dies. Cortana is good. Did Cortana ever come back? Is she?
I mean, you want the spoilers here?
I don't give a shit. Yeah.
All right. So I'll spoil Halo 5 for everybody. So Halo 4, Cortana dies.
Okay.
Halo 5, a fragment of herself merges with the Forerunners. who are like the super advanced people who came before everybody.
Just one of them or all four of them? The Forerunner.
But she merges with their technology and awakens the Guardians, because the game is called Halo 5 Guardians.
Oh, okay.
She awakens the Guardians and is basically like, hey, I'm going to create a utopia for everybody. However, if you don't want to be a part of my utopia, I'm going to fucking annihilate your planet.
That's how it goes.
So Halo Infinite picks up with kind of in the aftermath of that, where there's a lot of humanity that she's either actively killing or that don't want to join her cause or whatever.
Yeah.
And so everybody's just trying to survive this like godlike thing. But yeah, Cortana becomes evil in 5, essentially.
Crazy.
Yeah.
I remember hearing about that and I was like, Cortana, the little his little Jarvis, his Siri turns evil.
His little AI buddy.
Yeah. The naked blue hologram lady.
It's so fucking funny. In Halo, like in Halo, like the original like Halo, like Cortana is like a naked character.
Yeah.
But like it's just kind of naked in that way that like there's just like an AI like person or whatever. Like the graphics are not quite there.
Yeah.
Fucking Halo 4, Cortana's like thick. She's got big titties, big butt. Like it is so weird.
I mean,
And it, like to a distracting level, I would say.
the geeks have always like really liked or had a thing for Cortana. I feel like she's one of the, because there's like Princess Peach and Lara Croft and like a bunch of, kind of iconic video game characters that nerds have been forever thirsty over. Tifa, stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I've seen a company lean into that hard with that sort of even with Lara Croft. I mean, they went the opposite direction with her, I feel.
Yeah. Well, and it's funny with Cortana and Halo 4 because it's like, Halo 4's story, like at its core, is like Cortana's essentially getting like super dementia and is like really struggling to keep herself together and like throughout the game. And so it's actually like a really sad story in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
And I kind of got it the second time playing through it, but at the same time, her character model is what I would have modeled her character for if I was playing like horny Skyrim.
Yeah, like that. You expect that to be like a horny mod for Cortana.
Yeah.
It's also kind of crazy because Cortana on Windows is like it's their Siri essentially, or was. I don't know if they're still doing it. I disabled it as soon as that update happened. But that's kind of crazy that it's like Apple turned Siri evil. You know what I mean? Like if there was a Apple published story where Siri was a character, and then one day, like at the end of one of the games, they're like, she's a bad guy now.
Yeah.
But still use her on your iPhone, please.
There's a cutscene in Infinite where Cortana blows up a planet.
Oh fuck.
Like with a whole species on it and
That's
everything.
Crazy.
Yeah.
She's like evil.
She's fucked up, man. So it's really fucking funny.
That kind of rules.
You're right.
That's pretty good.
It's like, do you want Darth Vader as your voice? Like the guy who works for like the Nazis in space. Think about it for a second. Yeah. So anyways, Halo's been a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I've been getting a lot of YouTube shorts for Halo lore and they all suck. But
that sounds about right.
That's anyways, that's my life.
I feel like there's several YouTube channels for like any sort of lore, Final Fantasy, Zelda, Dark Souls, all that stuff. There's multiple lore YouTube channels that specifically focus in on one like series or whatever. I don't think I've ever seen a good Halo one. I'm sure they're out there. I've never seen them. The
problem with the Halo ones, because I watch a lot of like Warhammer lore videos. I'm a big 40K guy.
Yeah.
And the problem I have with the Halo ones is there's kind of this like there's the stories from like actual wars, right? Where like this soldier held out for 30 days behind enemy lines and he killed 500 enemy combatants using, this blah blah blah. And it's like, whatever your feelings are about war or whatever, you're like, wow, that guy really went through a lot.
That's a very capable guy.
Yeah, that's an impressive feat.
Yeah.
And 40K doesn't have it too often, but Halo has a lot of these stories about characters who are like, Private Key went through this place and he ended up behind Covenant lines where he killed, 30 elites and he did this. And I'm like, who gives a shit? He's not real. Like, why didn't he kill 1,000 elites? Like, you could type in any number.
Yeah.
Because he's not real.
What? And it doesn't really have anything to do with the overarching story, does it?
Nothing to do with it.
Is that character in the games?
It's just some fucking dork who did a good job in a story I'm never gonna read. Great, good for him.
Insane. Because I feel like say Dark Souls. I feel like if Vati Vidya is to be believed, and I believe he is. There's plenty of a lot of boss characters and stuff like that. It's such and such a character did such and such a thing, and that's why it's such a tragedy that you have to fight him in such and such a place. And it's oh, okay, we've added to the context which I can view this game that I'm playing. That's neat, but that doesn't sound like the case in Halo.
Yeah, no, every fucking lore video is just check out fucking.
Good old Spartan Dave. He killed a lot of guys.
Captain Fruit Loops did all this shit and he killed all these dudes. He's not real. They don't care.
Yeah, well, my super cool original Spartan actually killed 1,500 elites.
He actually took out 4 Covenant super carriers and is still alive.
And he's dating a supermodel and can do a double kickflip on command. So,
And his suit does jack him off. So
is that not a standard issue? I thought they all jacked them off.
No, there's a pretty solid chance that the Master Chief does not have a penis because it was removed during his, super soldier building up.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Damn, I guess I got to revisit Fall of Reach. I don't remember.
Yeah. You don't remember the part of Fall of Reach where they just
take his dick,
lop that thing off? Get out of here.
Yeah. I mean, God, I read so much. That was when I was in and not to say anything about Reach, but that was when I was in a real sci-fi trash era of what I was reading. Anything that looked like it came out of a bargain bin and had spaceships on it or whatever, I was probably reading it. So I read a lot of dumb shit. So I don't know who kept their dick and who didn't.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough to tell.
Yeah,
I mean, there's not really a huge reason that the Master Chief should lose his penis, but hey. Somebody's gotta, I guess.
Well, it's what makes him such a perfect match for Cortana because she doesn't exist in the way that people do.
Yeah.
So, and it's oh, how are they gonna? There's no sexual compatibility there. It's fine. He doesn't have a penis, so
yeah,
nobody's
totally
fucking.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's no time for fucking in war.
There's no time. The Covenant have to be stopped. Stop jerking off.
That's the real lesson, the real moral of the Halo story. Oh, so I have my Final Fantasy update.
So I wanted to segue into that. Can we get a little theme song here? Okay, cool.
Put it in post.
Put it in post, exactly. Bakari, last time we left you, you had played through 13? 12?
I had beaten, yep, and I was on 10.
And then you weren't going to play 11.
Nope.
And then you were on 10 and you weren't playing 10.
Yes.
All right, I've done the recap.
That's right.
Where are we at now?
Now I am more than halfway through Final Fantasy 9. I have finished 10.
Ooh.
Got I didn't. There was some bonus stuff in 10 that I wanted to do, but didn't want to spend another 40 hours on it or whatever. Because I think I probably had 50, 60 hours all told at the end of Final Fantasy X. I did some Blitzball, I did some of the hunting stuff, I did a little bit of the side content. I got Yojimbo and stuff like that. Yojimbo's fucking broken, by the way.
Yojimbo's fucking broken.
Holy shit, I did not realize how fucking powerful his limit break was.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that's how I beat the game now that I think about it.
I'm pretty sure that's how 90% of people have beaten the game.
Yeah.
I beat him with the Ladybug sisters.
Oh, the biggest sisters. Yeah. I wanted to get them, but in order to do so, you have to get all the other summons, which for me, that was just Anima. That was the last one I needed. The big BDSM one. That's more summons.
Oh, yeah.
And in order to get Anima, you need to. So in every temple that you go through, there's those bonus items that you get. You get a destruction orb, and then you put it in the right thing, and you get a little item. I had gotten a few of those, but I was missing 3 or 4. And so in order to get Anima, I needed to go back to those temples. And so I get in the airship, and I go back to the Besaid temple, the first one, and I didn't realize this because I'd never done this before. When you come back, because you're a traitor or whatever, the enemy summoners are there and they're like, get him. And they summon a fucking like super boss. They summoned Dark Valifor. And I was like, oh, okay, well, let's scan it, see what it's got. It's got like fucking 1 million HP. Yeah. And it one-shots everybody. And I was like, I cannot grind the amount that I would need to do this. I do not have it in me. So
it is, I haven't, because I only played it on PS2, and I don't think Dark Valifor was a thing.
Oh, they didn't have the Dark Aeons in the first one?
I'm gonna say no, but I could be wrong.
Sure. Or maybe you just got it all the first. Because if you go through and get every item the first time, you don't have to fight those.
And I played it with a guide, so I could have.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, no, I've heard from so many people who have like replayed 10. They're like, "Who the fuck's Dark Valfor? What the fuck is this?"
And there's a dark like. That's the case with all the temples, I'm pretty sure. Like, you go back to the temple, like, say you go back to the temple where you got Bahamut, you have to fight Dark Bahamut to get into there.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that's even far more difficult than Dark, any of the other ones, Ixion or Ifrit or Valfor or whatever.
And it's so funny that Valfor is, like, this, like, brutal boss, because Valfor who I summon when the boss is about to unleash his attack that he's charged up for 4 turns.
Yeah, that's
like, oh no,
that's your sock puppet. That's your
he's about to get me. All right, Valfor, absorb this hit.
Yep. You can die. It doesn't matter. We'll just bring him back at a save point. But yeah, overall, I really like Final Fantasy X. I feel like if I had a complaint about it, is that I feel like the game opens up a little too late. Like the Calm Lands should have maybe been like 2/3 of the way into the game and not like right before the end.
Yeah.
Because it's like there's the Calm Lands, Mount Gagazet, Xanarkand, the end. That's it. Like,
yeah, pretty much. Yeah, you get the airship really late in that game.
Like right before the last boss.
It's basically just there to let you get. I mean, in theory, it's there to let you get the other items that you missed, like the legendary weapons and whatnot. But like, Dark Valfor is a guy, so
yeah. And I did get a couple of the Celestial weapons, and I got the Celestial Mirror and all that stuff, which you need to make the Celestial weapons not garbage. Actually, no, I think you need the mirror to get the weapons to begin with, but then you need to do a bunch of other side quest bullshit to make those weapons not suck.
Yep.
Because when you get, like, say you get Tidus's Celestial weapon, whatever it's called, and the only ability it has is no AP. Like, you don't get AP for you don't get experience points, essentially.
Yeah.
And then as you do these side quests and power it up, then you get more abilities and stuff. But all of that side quest bullshit was like, yeah, you have to go you have to go to the Omega ruins and fight this super badass with like 3 million HP. And I'm like, I'm not going to do that. Wait, where's the post game content that I'm supposed to start with? Because everything is like, yeah, go fight God again. Yeah, I know you have to go kill Jack or whatever, but like, no, you have to fight God right now.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
I when I beat the game, which was again on PS2, I don't think it was that bad in the same way. Like, because I got a few of the legendary or the celestial weapons, and I got. But the other thing you can do is like there is an area you can go to that you can upgrade the items. And I remember putting like 1 MP cost on like several characters and things like that. And that was not as good as their best weapons, but was also like basically, I mean, when you can double cast, Flare and Ultima for 2 MP, like, all right, I'm in business.
That's pretty crazy, yeah.
That said, the final boss, I only got through it because I had Anima. I had Overdrive Anima, use his ability, and I got a critical hit on that ability.
Oh, shit.
So that took out the final boss's first form, and then the second form I was able to take down with the Magus Sisters.
Ah, there you go, yeah.
And that was the only way. I was running away from every random encounter I got. I was having to run away from it. I was so fucking underleveled or something. Like, I would just, like, I would lose fights against, like, anything that showed up.
A lot of the the enemies that you run into on the way to Jack, like, when you get to Xanarkand, pretty tough.
Pretty tough.
There's there's, like, the Mega Behemoth or whatever, that when you kill it, it casts Meteor. And that just does like 10,000 damage to everybody. I don't know how to survive beating that enemy.
That one random encounter.
Yeah. It's like maybe you get 3 Arimans, maybe you get the Gemini guys, or maybe you get a behemoth that will one-shot you if you beat it. Like, I don't know what one does to survive. Maybe it's a fire type thing. Maybe you cast Null Blaze, but that is probably not that easy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have no
bullshit.
clue.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I ran away from every encounter towards the end of the game. And if I didn't have the Mega Sisters, I wouldn't have been able to beat it.
Yeah.
Because I fought Jecht without using them, and it fucking kicked my ass. So bad.
I got unlucky the first, because like through very careful planning, because I'm pretty sure I was kind of underleveled too, but like through careful planning I was able to get through the first phase, and then when you get into the second phase, he like limit breaks and then just moves, like attacks like 4 times. Like it's so difficult just to survive. And I get through that and I'm like, okay, I had prepared. I got Yojimbo's level limit bar all the way up. So I'm like, I'm going to pull out Yojimbo. He's going to use Zanmato. I win the game. And so Yojimbo comes out and I'm like, here's all my money, 200,000 gil. Let's get this over with. And he uses Wakizashi. He just sword attack, 4,000 damage. And I'm like, why? And so we died.
Yeah.
But the next time he came out, used Zanmato, won the game.
Because the thing with Yojimbo is he's like looking for like specific amounts of money too. Like if you give him everything, it doesn't necessarily work better than like there's something like that. I never used Yojimbo that much because I didn't get it. But they're like, I've heard from other people that you're looking for like specific amounts of money.
I looked it up, and basically he has an invisible motivation score, or like points, whatever you call it. And you can lose it by like getting him killed, by dismissing him right after you summon him, by paying him too little, or whatever. And then you can gain it by like winning battles with him, by giving him more than X amount of gil. And it's a small amount. It's like 10 or whatever. And then once the move that he does is dependent on his motivation level. So like if you give him more than a few gil, he'll probably use at least his like second attack, because his first one is he has his dog do it, which sucks. It's just a bad move. But like if you give him any amount of gil that's double digits or whatever, he'll at least use his throwing knives. And then the biggest thing that you can do to influence his motivation is to give him it's for him to have a full limit break meter, or overdrive they call it.
Okay.
So like I was using Yojimbo a lot, and I was being pretty careful to like do right by him, right? And so like I was winning a lot of fights. I was getting to the point where he would just like, I would summon him and he would be like, you don't even have to give me nothing, fucking overdrive, go. And it was like, okay, sure. Like it didn't even have a full overdrive meter, didn't ask for any money, he just comes out and does it. So I'm like, damn, I think we're pretty good. I think we got a good thing going.
Jimbo and I are friends.
Yeah, we're buds.
Yeah, what's the problem here?
Yeah, I got a pro bono Yojimbo on my side here. He's working for free.
He's just here for the love of it.
Yeah, he gave me the homie discount. We're all good. But yeah, and then when I absolutely needed him to use his limit, he did not, and we died. But we got it eventually. The ending segment where you have to fight all the Aeons was really neat. Like Yuna summons one after another, and you like kill them, and then it's like we've broken the wheel. Like there's no more sin, there's no more pilgrimage, there's no more summons. We're all done. That was all really cool. I love the way they brought back the fucking Rammstein song for the Jax fight. I thought that was really neat. You put the hand that feeds you. It's so good. I love that song. It's like stupid, but in a way I really like.
Absolutely. That's a perfect way of putting it.
Yeah. Overall I really liked it. I remember thinking back in the day, like when Final Fantasy 12 came out and it wasn't a turn-based game. Oh, no.
I don't want Anya getting the laptop.
She was sniffing around the power button of the laptop. You're very cute though, Anya. What was I saying? I remember thinking when Final Fantasy 12 came out and it kind of had that like weird one-player MMO type vibe to it. I remember thinking like, I guess they've just kind of run out of ideas for turn-based combat. Like that we've reached the peaks of it. And that's all it's got to be. And that's fine. And like coming back to Final Fantasy X, I'm like, I didn't know shit. Like there was so much gas in that tank. Like so much left on the table by Final Fantasy X. So many ideas they could have expanded on. And just didn't. And that's kind of a bummer.
Yeah, I feel you because I have a hard time playing the ones that because 10 was the first Final Fantasy that I really dove into.
Yeah,
and I have a hard time playing the earlier ones because I don't like that I am restricted to 3 characters in one battle.
Yeah,
like I want to use all of them every fight.
The character switching thing in 10 was like really good, I thought.
Yeah.
I liked the way they did that.
Yeah, and I really liked that it was like it motivated me to use multiple characters. Like I think I can name every character in 10. I don't think I can get close to it in any other game because
hit me with all the characters in 10.
What's up?
Hit me with all the characters in 10. Playable characters.
Okay, Titus, Waka, Lulu, Yuna, Riku, Auron.
Yeah.
I
think you've got.
I've got all of them except Blue Man. Oh, fuck, what is his name? See, the issue is I didn't use him at all. He didn't have a cool thing he did. He was the blue mage.
I always tried to use
Rargazar. I don't know.
Right. It's Kimari. That's
Kimari.
I always tried to use Kimari a lot because I like the way that you can kind of spec him any which way and whatnot.
Yeah.
I don't think he's a very good character.
No, I expect him as a black mage one game just to be like, and then I'll have 2 black mages. And he sucked.
I tried to do sort of a red mage type of thing, like have some physical ability, some magic, like some black magic, some white magic. Terrible idea. He was awful at all of those things. But the plus side was that he was able to cast things like Protect and Shell and Isuna and all the like white mage things that like don't require stats.
Yeah.
So basically, I'm like, Yuna can, because I gave Yuna like the Aga spells like Fire Aga, Blaze Aga, Water Aga, etc., and she essentially replaced Lulu entirely because her magic stat is actually way better.
Oh, interesting!
Like much better. Wow. She was doing like double Lulu's damage.
Whoa, got her ass.
Yeah, so I was just like, well, now I want someone who's going to be able to do white mage things. So Kimari became that for me.
That's so. Yeah, that's Kimari.
Yeah, like if somebody gets petrified or confused or something, I'd be like, Kimari, come here, take care of it, and then I'd throw him back in the box immediately afterwards.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and it's like his signature ability is not particularly fun. Because like if you don't know that you're gonna get an ability, the idea of using that like pull.
The Lancet
on every enemy is like so boring.
Yeah.
It does no damage. It fucking 90% of the enemies don't give you anything.
Yeah.
Like,
I did realize that like, so Lancet, it'll give you like 100 HP, but it'll also give you 100 MP. So like, and that's like all Kimari has is like, he had like 140 by the end of the game. So I'm like, I could Lancet and get all my MP back. So like, ideally he should be a great mage. Problem is he just doesn't do enough damage.
Yeah.
But he does. So I found out in Mount Gagazet where you have to fight the other Ronzo. They all have like both of them have like every blue magic ability pretty much. You can just Lancet them. Yeah. I managed to get. I think I managed to get like most of the blue magic, the Ronso Rage abilities by the end of the game. Yeah, didn't fucking use them, but I had them.
You can get a lot of the, except for like the really like the best of the best abilities. I want to say you can get them from those guys.
Yeah, so, I don't think you can get like Stone Breath and a couple other ones. But.
Yeah, which makes it super frustrating that it's like, well, why the fuck was I using it before if I can just get them all in this fight?
Yeah. But what's that one called? Mighty Guard is very good. It's just like it casts like Protect, Shell, all the null abilities. Like it just uses like every defensive buff on everybody at once. That was great. I used that a couple of times.
There you go.
That's about it though. That was useful against the final Seymour fight that you do in Xanarkand, the fourth one that I'd completely forgotten about.
That was another one where I believe it was the Mega Sisters that won that for me.
Oh, yeah, it's smart. I don't remember if I did a particular strategy. I just did it a few times, and because that was like I did that, and then the last couple of boss fights, all on that Sunday morning when I was like my food poisoning was like starting to set in, So like I don't remember some of that for sure.
Fair. Yeah, well, because you were about to die.
Yeah,
so.
pretty much.
Yeah.
Like, I think by the time the credits were rolling, I was like, I'm really not feeling good. Like, I've been going to the bathroom a lot, but this is bad.
Something's wrong.
Yeah. I think I started puking like an hour later. So,
oh, good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, Final Fantasy X's great. I had a great time with that.
And you're making good progress through 9.
Yeah. 9 is a very mixed bag. There are reasons why.
It's the good bag. It's everybody's favorite.
There are reasons I can see why that is the case, but like I also see why some people hate that game.
It's apparently the best one, so you're wrong if you don't think it is.
Hard to say. Okay, Pete. All right. Here's what I'll say.
I can't argue with you on this one because I've never played it. So
here's what I'll say. I think that people who think Final Fantasy IX is the best one are the ones who prioritize story and presentation over mechanics, and that I think that is totally fine. Final Fantasy IX has amazing, like for the time especially, like the soundtrack fucking whips, the character designs are really great, the amount of FMV cutscenes is honestly kind of like I didn't know you could fit that much on even 3 PlayStation discs. There's a lot, it has a lot going for it. The world building's crazy, all this stuff. That combat is maybe my least favorite Final Fantasy combat in this challenge and in just memory, because like I've played most of the Final Fantasies to some degree. That might be my least favorite one.
Damn.
You declare an attack, like you tell Garnet to use Cure on Vivi because Vivi's HP is kind of low. Then you have to wait 3 to 5 business days between when you said that and when the actual thing happens. There will be multiple turns taken between when you say, hey, Garnet, use Cure on Vivi, and when she actually does. And by then, hey, guess what? Vivi's dead.
Yeah.
And she just casts Cure on his fucking corpse, and that does not revive him, by the way. You need to use life. Yeah. And so it's like, well, okay. All right. Hey, Zidane, do me a favor, pal. Use a Phoenix down on Vivi. And then by the time that goes off, so like a bunch of other shit has happened, and then Vivi comes back with 1 HP, and then you're like, well, fuck, all right, now let's use Cure on Vivi. And by the time that happens, guess what? The little fucker's dead again. It's and like I would be more frustrated with it if like any of it fucking mattered, because like the stats don't matter. The things you're like, the abilities you're fucking using don't matter. If a boss fight is hard, you just kind of bash your head against it until it's done. And most of the time it's not. And most of the time it's like survive 10 turns and then she'll actually feel bad and join you anyway. Like, so I'm 2 discs in. I'm like about to finish disc 2. The combat doesn't matter. Like just point blank period. The way they have it set up, like you learn abilities by equipping equipment. Like
you spend AP on abilities, right?
No, so you can get like a sword or like a staff that has like fire on it, right?
Right.
You equip that to Vivi, and then Vivi gets AP just through, over the course of battling enemies and whatnot. And then once you hit 30 AP or whatever, Vivi now has mastered fire, and you can now unequip that staff and put something new on him.
Got it. Okay.
When you're shopping for weapons, they don't tell you what abilities they give you. You have to buy it to even know what the fuck it does. And it's like,
fuck
okay, well, I have this sword that gives me 30 attack, but this sword that gives me 15 attack is worth, it's like, in the shop for 7,000 gil or whatever. Do I need it? I don't fucking know. And so you just have to kind of take a risk on it and then see if it's going to actually fucking do anything for anybody. It is the most ass backwards RPG system I've ever encountered, maybe.
Excellent.
And like,
absolutely excellent.
I'm not having fun. I'm having a good time. But like, I think very little of that is because of the combat. If the only enjoyment I'm getting out of the actual mechanics of the game is like number go up. Hey,
number go up.
I got a bigger sword, and now Zidane does more damage. That's
number
neat.
go up.
I do love it when number go up. We've talked about it. Number go up is very good.
Number go up is very satisfying.
Yeah. And it's still got that. So yeah, I'm enjoying the story. I'm enjoying everything else about the game. Don't care for the combat. It's sluggish. It is what that is, and it's like,
which is a shame because it's like the ATB system is supposed to be like more engaging or whatever.
that made sense in Final Fantasy VII, and I'm sure it made sense in Final Fantasy VIII. That sure don't make fucking sense in 9. It would have, like, 9 would be so much more enjoyable if you could just, like, have it play like, I don't know, any of the other Final Fantasies where it's like 10, like you tell Zidane to attack somebody and he attacks somebody next turn, you know, that would have been so much easier.
Yeah. I liked 10 too, that it showed the turn order ahead of time, so you can kind of make plans as well.
Yeah.
I thought that was really
If they showed me that, it would maybe make a bit more sense. But like because of the ATB system, basically like everybody is declaring attacks all over the place. So it's like you have to hurry to declare your move. That's then going to take 5 minutes before it happens.
And it doesn't have like pause on like when an ATB is full.
No, I think
because I thought 7 had that.
That was a setting you could activate. I think.
Yeah,
I do not believe that's the case, or at least I haven't been able to find it.
Dang.
I do think, and I've experimented with this a little bit, but I'm still inconclusive. But like I think maybe if like, you know, it says like, oh, it's Queena's turn or whatever. Queen is the blue mage character of this game. If you go into like, say you select, like you hit technically like blue magic or whatever, and it pulls up the blue magic menu, I think maybe that pauses it, but it's difficult to tell when people are going to be moving anyway. So it's like, I don't know if that you know, 7 turns that just happened were because those were locked in before I opened this menu, or if shit's just going and I'm going to get my ass kicked if I don't, you know, do something.
Okay.
I do like the blue magic system. I like Queena
eats people.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, I know things about Final Fantasy.
Stu knows Final Fantasy 9.
I said I don't like JRPGs that much. Doesn't mean I don't know Final Fantasy 9.
Yeah, he's got it. Got it on lock. But yeah, I like that system. Some of the blue magic is super useful, and some of it is like complete bullshit. Like
that's blue magic.
That's blue magic. Well, but this one is like useless in a very fascinating way, because it'll be like, you can, if you use this ability, you'll cast Holy on all enemies that have a level that's a multiple of 4. It's like, I don't know what level they are. I have to use scan in order to know what level an enemy is. And guess what? That costs a whole turn and takes 7 years.
It takes 7, and you have to figure out what the multiple, like a multiple of 4 is.
And you're going to make me do math?
Yeah, fuck that.
Yeah. Like, my guys are level 18, which means that like if I'm fighting enemies around my level, then it's going to be another 2 levels or minus 2 levels before they're a multiple of 4 again. It's I don't know. There's some of these mechanical decisions are just bewildering to me. I did think it was really neat. So Garnet, when you first get her, she has a summon ability, but and like all the different summons are there. You got like Odin and Ifrit and all the other ones, but like they cost too much.
Right, you can't really use them.
Yeah, so they're all just grayed out. It's practically there for decoration. And then story-wise, she gets taken, like the queen manages to kidnap her again, and they do this ritual that then purges her of all the summons that she has like innately, and then those are gone from the menu. There's some bits like that where I'm like, oh, that's neat, where like kind of using the mechanics of the story of the game to tell the story. That's cool.
Thought that was like the peak of storytelling.
Yeah, right. It's cool.
My friend Will, who loves Final Fantasy 9, told me.
Sorry, Will.
That. I was like, yeah, sorry, Will. When he told me about that, I was like, that's the coolest fucking.
Yeah, that's pretty rad.
You know? Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I think there's a lot going for it. If it's somebody's favorite Final Fantasy, I get why. But the things that I enjoy about RPGs, like many of those things I find severely lacking in Final Fantasy 9.
Right.
And like, you know, having great time with the story, having great time with the characters, love the soundtrack, wish they wouldn't play Melodies of Life quite as often as they do. Because it's not only the main theme of the game, it's also kind of Garnet's theme. So like, every time that lady's on the screen, ba, 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 and then it's like, oh, Sadma. Ba, 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 every fucking couple of minutes that song is on.
You're fucking gunning for like some hate comments.
That is one of my favorite Final Fantasy songs. Make no mistake. They just play it too much.
Ah, damn.
Every time you're on the world map, every time Garnet's on the screen, every time something happy is happening, every time something sad's happening, it's that motherfucking song.
Brutal.
Just like,
damn.
give me a couple more. You're Not Alone. That's a great Final Fantasy IX song. Haven't heard that one once. Where's that? Like we can lean on that a little bit more. I mean, Final Fantasy X would have had the same problem, but they had To Xanarkand and Suteki Dane, which are two really solid themes that they kind of use back and forth for different like. So it's a lot more difficult to get annoyed with two great songs than it is to get annoyed with one great song over the several hours I've been playing these fucking games.
So you've played through, let me see if I can get this right. 16, 15, 13, 12, 10 now.
Mm-hmm.
So let's not count 9 because you haven't beat it.
Yeah. And I didn't play 14 as a part of this, but I did beat 14 or play through Endwalker.
Well, that's fucking
early
MMO.
last year.
Well, you didn't play through Final Fantasy 11, so I'm not going to talk about Final Fantasy 14
That's
if you're
true.
not going to play Final Fantasy 11. All right.
One of these days.
Of those 5s, which one is your favorite so far?
Ooh, right. My knee-jerk answer is that it's a toss-up between 10 and 15, actually.
Oh, 15 being that's the one where you ride around with your boys.
With the boys in the car, yeah.
Boys in the car.
I was really surprised by how much I found, like how enjoyable I thought 15 was. Like, it's kind of a mess, but it is just such a comfy, it's got the vibes, you know? The vibes are immaculate. You're just cruising around with your boys, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that might be the one I got like the most of an emotional reaction out of, like of these.
Interesting. Okay.
It's that 10 and also 16. 16 hits a little different though, because it was like my first time playing through it. It was like out for a couple of months before I beat it, you know?
Yeah. So you got that recency bias that we talk about a lot on this show.
Exactly. So yeah. But I think as I get further away from it, I'm like, I like 16. It's got some issues. There's a lot of like criticisms around the themes of the story that I'm like, yeah, I get that. Like, it tackles the concept of slavery quite a bit and could have been better at it. But you know, I think it could have been far worse. True.
Yeah.
But yeah, overall, I like 16 quite a bit. But yeah, I think pound for pound, I think 15 was the one that got the most emotional reaction out of me. Mechanically, I'll say probably 10. 10 was like the most solid one so far.
10 hit. Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
Okay. I like the distinction.
Yeah. I mean, you know, there's been something to like about all of these, but yeah, I feel myself like there's this like Call of the Voids or something pulling me to like, I gotta play through the 13 trilogy at some point. Like, I gotta play 13-2 and Lightning Returns.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I mean, it's going to happen. Whether it happens as a part of this backwards Final Fantasy or not, that doesn't matter. You're going to play through 13-2 and 13-3.
Yeah, and I also got to play through 10-2 at this point, because I know very little about 10-2, and I need to know how Tidus comes back.
Apparently, mild spoiler, doesn't matter to the game at all. Like, he comes back in like a post-credit scene.
What?
Yeah, something like that.
But I thought that was like the whole mission in 13-2 was
no,
or 10-2.
they're like hunting around for him or whatever. Almost positive it's like a post-credit scene if you've done enough achievements as well. So it's like if you've only completed like 90% of the game by the time you beat it, it actually doesn't. You don't actually unlock.
You get the bad ending and Tidus just stays dead.
Yeah, well, you get the normal ending and then you don't get the post credits scene. I think is how it works. It's only if you do certain things in the game do you get the.
You know, that is how Kingdom Hearts works. So like I believe it.
It's there.
Yeah. It's like you can't just beat the game. You got to find all 101 Dalmatians and you got to craft the Ultima weapon and you got to do this or the other thing. It's
and
like,
you got to not open these chests but open these chests.
Yeah.
You got to do this. That. Yeah. It's dumb.
Exactly.
Fucking dumb.
Beat the optional bosses, Kurt Ziza and Sephiroth and all that shit. There's a lot. Yeah.
Well, I think this has been Bakari's backwards Final Fantasy corner.
There it is.
Let's get into the anime. So, we swear to God we're an anime podcast.
That's right.
I know we just talked about a lot of stuff that wasn't anime, but now we're going to get into our main thing. We watched 6 episodes of an anime, and then we review it. This week, we watched the first 6 episodes of ZOM 100.
That's right, which is an abbreviation for a name we can't pronounce.
This is not an... Oh, yeah, I guess I can't.
Yeah.
I was going to say, is it not Zombie 100? No, it's not.
Well, it's like Zombie ni naru something 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 100 things I need to do. I don't know. It's a Japanese name. It's like it translates to like 100 things I want to do before I become a zombie.
Yeah,
I think or something like that.
Something
the name
like
of the
that.
book. Yeah,
the name of the book that he's got. Yeah. So we watched that one today. We said we were gonna watch a battle anime, and we couldn't really decide on one.
Yeah.
So we watched something else cool.
exactly. It's not a battle anime, but I would still classify it as like a shonen, maybe a seinen type anime.
Totally. Plenty of battles happen. Lots of fighting.
Yeah.
Lots of action. Lots of colorful blood.
That's true.
Yeah. You want to give us a brief breakdown of the show?
Yeah. So our protagonist, Akira Tendo, is on his third year at a I realized they call this the translation is a black company or like an exploitative company.
The subtitle say exploitative.
Yeah. I picked up the words that they're saying are so the Japanese word for company, I believe, is kaisha. Yeah, I think that's it. They say whenever the subtitles say exploitative company, what they're saying is buraku gaisha. So like they're saying a black company, like one that should be blacklisted, I guess. I don't know. But anyway, he works for a really shitty, Ubisoft ass fucking company, where where basically it's like they are just working him to the bone. Everybody like sleeps at the office and they're pulling multiple all-nighters, and the management is really shitty to him and all this other shit. Doesn't get paid very well, and everything sucks for him pretty much. And he was like so excited to be working here in the industry that he chose and stuff like that. And now 3 years later, he's completely burned out, has very little hope for anything anymore. He's moving around quite like a zombie. And then the zombie apocalypse happens. The good old people are eating people in the streets and everything's all fucked up. The cars aren't moving.
We've been waiting for.
Exactly. It's if you've seen any zombie movie ever, that happens. And as he's running away from these zombies, like kind of his first thought is, oh no, I'm going to be late to work. And then as the chase continues and he realizes that more and more and more, like this is a much bigger thing than he originally thought. It's not just his apartment building. It seems to be all of Tokyo. His next first thought is, oh, I don't have to go to work ever again. And so
he's excited
and he's stoked. It is like the most exuberant scene of somebody running away from a horde of zombies we've ever seen. He is having a fucking blast running for his life. And then so shortly after, he starts coming up with a list of 100 things, like a bucket list of the dead is the subtitle of the series. It's basically 100 things that he wants to get done before he becomes a zombie, because statistically that's bound to happen eventually.
Yeah, it's a bucket list. You know? It's what do you want to do before you die?
Exactly.
All that jazz,
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's solid, and I like just as like a general thing. I really enjoyed this show. I think it's like. It's very fun, it's very well animated, and it's got heart to it despite how silly the premise is.
I agree. Yeah. I really love the animation style. We were talking about it briefly. There's this like the thing that's a lot more common in especially action animes nowadays, where like they'll dim the screen for certain action stuff. This happens quite a bit in this one as well. And like, I understand it's for, out of consideration for people with epilepsy or whatever. I wish that was a thing you could turn off, have it on by default. That's fine. I just wish that I didn't have to see it if I didn't want to. So that was like my one complaint about it, but like everything else, it's great. Yeah. I love the characters. The animation is excellent. I guess Shaft worked on this, which like they did Bakemonogatari and Madoka Magica and stuff like that.
It's also Bug Films, which I didn't recognize at all. I think
they're like kind of a breakout studio, but like
must be.
I watched like a YouTube short or something on this. I guess there's something going on, like not so great going on over there. Like not like a human rights violations type thing. It's just like there's something fucky with the production of it, because I guess Shaft towards the end of this season left. Like they stopped or something like that.
Interesting.
Which tells people like, oh, they're probably like, we're probably going to see quite a dip in the animation quality if there is a next season.
Yeah.
Which is a shame. I also want to bring up, especially because we're talking about like shitty work culture and stuff like that. I don't know if I feel bad for just springing this on you out of nowhere, but Studio Mappa has had some real issues.
So
with their
I've
staff.
been hearing about that like vaguely. Like, do you have like concrete details or
I know that-
or something more concrete than something is happening?
Yeah, well, I had heard from a friend that like some of the animators who worked on Jujutsu Kaisen and stuff, and also Chainsaw Man, I think, we're talking about how like shitty stuff is over there. And this all kind of came to a head recently when I don't remember the guy's name, but like one of the lead animators from Jujutsu Kaisen season 2 actually walked. He's no longer there.
He's just out. Damn.
I think he mentioned some plans to start his own animation company or something like that, kind of like a Gainax Trigger sort of deal. Which, if that happens, I bet he'll be able to pull a lot of staff from Mappa.
Yeah.
So, we don't really see Gainax around anymore, I don't think.
And I was gonna say, like, I've been watching, like, I watched Brand New Animal and stuff, and like truly Trigger doesn't miss at this point,
Yeah. So
Wow.
like maybe he takes a lot of the talent at Mappa and does something more constructive with it. That sounds like a best case scenario.
Yeah.
But like I know we've been vocally very pro Mappa in terms of like their output on this thing, and I still think everything that those creators did on Chainsaw Man and Jujutsu Kaisen and all the rest is really 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 good.
Yeah, both the shows look great.
Yeah, totally. So like I think it's okay to praise their work, like the work of the people who are actually doing the shit, but at the same time we must say like that's not cool that Mappa has like put them in such a position.
Well, and I think just in general, like we're in a weird spot where, as an anime podcast run by two guys who are very like pro worker,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
no ifs, ands, or buts. Like you and I both like believe in workers' rights,
Totally.
all that stuff.
Yeah.
However,
Unequivocally.
just the animation industry in general.
Yeah, foreign and domestic. Like this is hardly a Japanese only problem.
Yeah, totally. Like animation has such a fucking problem with like labor and stuff like that, because if you're like, take the States for instance, if you're an American worker, okay, like you can do a lot of stuff, but a lot of it gets outsourced to other countries where it's a lot cheaper, and those people aren't making like great wages. They're not getting paid an American wage in a country where that money goes farther.
Yeah.
They're getting paid a terrible wage in their own country, right?
Yeah.
So it's unfortunate that like something like Jujutsu Kaisen, which is like my favorite anime right now.
Season 2 is like one of the best shonen anime things ever, in my opinion.
Incredible piece of art. And you kind of have to also be like, well, but it also sucks how it's made. And it's like, it's just like, I can't do anything about it. Like, me not watching Jujutsu Kaisen isn't going to make Jujutsu Kaisen, like, it's not going to make Mappa rethink their labor policies.
Yeah.
Like, Japan has such a fucking labor problem right now, or at least like workers' rights problem right now.
Yeah.
That like
that's what this show is about.
Yeah, that's what this show is about. Exactly. Yeah. And like, it's just, I don't know what the answer is. Like, do I stop watching anime in general? I don't think that's the call.
Yeah.
But like, it just sucks that like you can't have like a best of both worlds.
Yeah.
Where these workers are paid fairly for their work and the stuff is cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or at the very least that like the stuff is cool and people aren't being exploited.
Yeah.
Like, I'll watch something that doesn't look great if I knew that the people weren't being exploited. But I don't have that option. I can't watch that anime that's like, hey, we're exploitation free, because I don't hear
It's got like the fair trade sticker on it or whatever. Yeah,
exactly. Like certified organic anime. Like, I just can't find that.
Yeah, cage free, grass fed anime.
Yeah.
But it's very much totally agree. It's like that that Sonic meme. Like I want shorter anime that looks worse and made by people who are paid more to work less or whatever.
Yeah.
Totally. Like, I think it's incredible the things that people can do. Like, just talking about Jujutsu Kaisen, like some of the most explosive and dynamic like action sequences I've ever seen in a shonen anime. But like, that's not worth the amount of suffering on display.
Yeah. Totally.
I would rather see some like One Punch Man season 2 ass shit than people go through that.
Yeah, there was a show I was digging recently, but it's out on the because like I said, I've been getting super into Warhammer 40K again, all over. And there's a show that Games Workshop, the makers of 40K, put out that's called Hammer and Bolter. And it's actually like pretty decent. If you like 40K stuff, it's super fun.
This is a show, you said?
This is a show that they're putting out on their own streaming service, and there's this whole thing around it. But the show itself is pretty good. But the animation isn't great.
Sure.
But in the back of my head, I'm like, well, but maybe the people are getting paid okay or whatever. Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
Probably not, but maybe. You know, like it's not like it's super complicated animation.
Yeah.
And all that. And then the fucking credits roll. And I didn't pay attention to the credits at first, but I watched several episodes. Credits roll, and it's like written by the Warhammer Storyforge team. Who the fuck is that? You couldn't put the people's names in the credits?
Are those the people who like come up with the lore for Warhammer?
I have no clue who these people are.
That's not a word.
It's just all I know is written by Warhammer Storyforge team.
That's kind of a bummer, like that they don't have their individual names credited.
Yeah. You don't have their fucking credits? What the fuck?
I know that was a thing with like video game music for a long time. Like the Sonic games weren't composed by, insert person. It was the Sega sound team, and it was different. Like such that like someone like me who has listened to the Sonic Adventure 2 soundtrack religiously for 20 years, like didn't know the name Fumie Kumatani until like not too long ago, like a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. Like she made some of my favorite shit. I had no idea. It was just because like the only person who's actually got name dropped on it was Jun Senoue. And like, but I don't blame him for any of this, but like, I was just like, wow, that guy's got a whole lot of different styles. He can play like rock music. He can rap. He can do all this. And it's like, no, there's like all different fucking people.
Fucking team.
Yeah. Which we just didn't know.
And it's unfortunate because with something like Sonic, maybe eventually that information will come out because the game is so impactful and huge.
That info has come out since, but like,
yeah, but like with smaller games where something like that happens, nobody's ever going to have a fucking clue.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It just sucks. It just speaks to like how, again, like you can't even get fucking, like you're going to be worked to the bone and you can't even get fucking credit.
Yeah.
And
it's like, it makes sense on sort of a sinister level because it's like, if you put their names in the credits, it's that much easier for them to put that on their resume and go get a better job.
Yeah.
And you need them to keep working for you for cheap and keep doing good things. So
yeah. And that's the fucking sinister part about it is like, yeah, those people could move on to bigger and better careers and all that. And they should be allowed to.
They should.
This insane shit where it's like, no, company first. Like, eat my fucking shorts.
Yeah, absolutely.
This isn't some kind of, like, it feels like, to go off like a fucking rail or whatever. Like, it feels like nationalism or whatever, where it's like, you're doing this for your country.
Yeah.
You got to do this because your country needs you. You got to do this because your corporation needs you.
Yeah.
Because the company needs you to stay steadfast and do this for the company. It's like, shut the fuck up.
And it's like
the same shit.
And you hear that a lot with like, because video game developers, like a lot of them are in the same boat, right?
Yeah.
And like again, here in Japan, wherever, like it's not a Japan or any country specific problem. But you'll hear about these video game developers who have to like pull multiple all-nighters in a row. They're like, their hair's falling out and they're having all these health issues. They haven't seen their family in weeks, whatever. And like devs, like both people internally and also like just fans of the games or whatever, are like, well, you do this job because you have a passion for game dev. Like a lot of people would die to be in your shoes. It's like, suck it up. Like,
yeah.
Jesus Christ, guys! Like, how can you be that cruel to someone who's like making shit you like? You know?
Well, and so it's interesting in Psalm 100 that you have people who are competing over like, oh, you have like 150 sick days saved up.
Yeah,
talk to me when you have 200.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's like, oh, I totally see that with people because like everybody's worked a job where like they get mad at you if you use a sick day.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. That's a lot of those things, like, because it's illegal to enforce it here. Like a lot of that shit happens because it's like, yeah, your workday is 8 hours. Everyone else is working 14 hours today. Are you going to be the asshole who goes home? You know?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, that's sort of like indirect pressure is a way to get people to, work really, really, really long hours without and like sort of have the what's the word? lack of culpability because you're like, well, I didn't tell him to work 14 hours. I just implied this had to be done tomorrow.
Yeah,
you know?
well, and it's a level of insidiousness too with like when you have because it's one thing to be like, well, the company wants me to do this. Fuck you, fuck bad management or whatever. It's another thing if your coworkers are doing something. I'm way more inclined to go along with what my coworkers are doing as like a we're in this together.
Yeah,
kind of
solidarity.
Thing,
yeah,
like a brothers in arms kind of situation.
Totally.
Whereas if a company wants me to do it, and it sucks that people will buy into it, and I like that the show touches on that.
Yeah. It seems very, very pointed. Like this is, in a very strange way. Like a lot of it is about like the shitty work culture. Not even the shitty work culture of Japan, though. Like obviously that's the perspective they're going with. I think it's a really interesting angle, especially for a zombie show. Like I wouldn't have expected that.
Yeah, and it's interesting too that multiple characters deal with it as well.
Yeah. And different sort of shades of it. Like what's his name? Is his best bud, Ken Cho, I think it is. Dealt with a lot of shitty stuff at his own job, and like had his own coping mechanisms for it, had his own set of problems and all that. And it sort of gives us like a more well-rounded view of like what these guys are going through.
Yeah.
In their modern life,
Yeah, it's very much a lot of like working sucks and modern working conditions are terrible.
Yeah. Totally.
Because I think it's a fairly common situation to be in where you're like, man, I just fucking wish I didn't have to go to work. Like, like I wish something terrible would happen so I wouldn't have to go to work. I wish I was sick.
Yeah. Totally.
At the most mild there.
Yeah. I wish I had a reason to not go in today.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I'm lucky enough to have a job where I don't really have that anymore. But my previous job was definitely like, such a situation by the end of it. It was rough. So don't wish that on anybody. It's
totally
the worst.
So I like the how the first episode looks, where when he starts working it's very colorful, and then as he works there longer the show basically turns black and white.
Yeah, pretty much.
And then by the time the zombies show up, once the zombies show up, it gets very colorful. Like the zombies seem to not just be like, people don't just bleed red in the show, they bleed like green and blue and all that.
Yeah.
And I think it's such a good touch that when he's like, I'm recognizing color again, it's like you're also seeing color come back into the show,
Totally. I thought that was a very nice touch.
Yeah.
I don't really know if the green and the blue and the purple and stuff is supposed to be just more blood or if it's like other types of viscera. I don't know.
Yeah, because like one of the zombies explodes and blue goes everywhere.
Oh yeah, he's a blue bleeding zombie.
Yeah.
It was his boss, I think.
Yeah, he throws his CEO out the window.
Yeah, which is dope.
Yeah, hell yeah. Yeah, I think it's a good touch. Like, to me, it doesn't matter whether it's blood or whatever is going on. It just makes for a more good-looking show.
Totally. Yeah, their use of like color and stuff, like it's a very good-looking show for sure. I really like the character designs. Yeah, and just it's the scenes of people like running away or fighting zombies or whatever. They're all super, super pretty.
Yeah. No, they look fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah. I loved in the second episode when we had our like, he's just like me for real moment where he's like, I just want to drink beer all day and watch movies.
Yeah.
And he goes on a beer run, like, down to the convenience store, running past zombies to just drink a bunch of beer. And it's like, fucking cheers, man. Like, hell yeah. Like, he's so stoked about beer.
He is willing to brave the zombie hordes to stock up on his legally distinct Asahi beer.
Yeah, and I love the beer that it says like, enjoy your life, beer.
Yeah,
like it fits in with the show. Like, yeah, enjoy your life.
Yeah,
but also beer.
Enjoy those two things. That's what it's all about.
We were talking about it during the show. Like, this is absolutely one of my creature comforts.
Oh, yeah.
That, like, if the apocalypse happened and all that jazz, like, I think I definitely miss cold beer.
Yeah.
Like, even if I had access to beer, if it was, like, room temperature, like, I might just quit drinking beer,
Yeah, like, room temperature or warm beer is, like, it's unpleasant. Like I'd rather not have it. You know,
I am
no
not,
beer is better than warm beer.
I am not European enough to get through that.
No,
Yeah.
Just can't. Haven't visited Germany a single time. Don't know what that's about.
Yeah.
I guess you can get a warm beer at McDonald's or something there, but maybe that's just something someone told me and I believed it.
Yeah, I've been to Mexico. That's as far south, and I went when I was like 16. So I've got no idea what the drinking culture is outside of America.
Me
essentially.
neither. As I understand it, there's plenty of. I mean, I think most countries enjoy drinking quite a bit. You know, like maybe not most, but like the ones that we're familiar with, I guess. I feel like I feel like chances are good if we were German or British or French or insert nationality here, we'd probably be like, those Americans like drinking a lot. Their beer sucks, but like they like drinking.
I went to a party one time where there was a guy from Germany who was his first time in America, and he was drinking like PBR and Budweiser and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And he woke up the next day and was like, I feel terrible. What the fuck is wrong with your beer?
Is that not a thing there?
Yeah, he was like, I've never been hungover like this.
Wow. I never really thought about like the contents of the alcohol being like I mean, I know like wine's gonna get you more like a more unpleasant hangover than some other alcohols just because
sugar.
Yeah, because of the sugar. Yeah. But like beyond that, I never really thought about like, oh, beer from other places doesn't get you like that.
Apparently.
Oh,
apparently. According to that German man I met when I was like 22.
Who I will now believe wholeheartedly.
Yeah, wholeheartedly.
Yeah, without a second thought. I don't know his name, but I will follow him to the ends of the earth on this.
Absolutely. I had a funny thing with him. As he got drunker, he lost the ability to speak English.
Oh, sure.
So, but he had spent some time in Spain, so he kind of knew Spanish, and I kind of knew Spanish.
Oh, there you go.
So I'm at a party with a German man, and we're both trying to speak Spanish to each other because it's the only language we can drunkenly speak together. Yeah.
My Japanese teacher in college, because I took French through high school, and but by the time I got to college, I needed 2 years of a foreign language class, and I had taken all the French there was to take already.
You're just full of French.
So I was like, well, I would just be reviewing the same shit I already know. Let's take Japanese instead. And let's face it, I was and am a huge weeb, so like whatever.
And forever will be.
Yeah. But so the teacher there, he taught Japanese in Mexico before he moved to the US.
Okay.
Yeah. So he had lived in Mexico for several years and had been in the US for maybe 2 or whatever. And so he was, native fluent in Japanese, pretty much fluent in Spanish, knew some English. So like when I would ask him like, oh, what's this word mean or something like that, he'd answer in Spanish half the time, and I'm like, that does not help me at all. Actually, if anything, I find it more confusing.
You know what's really funny to me? I've never thought about, and this is very ignorant of me, but I've never thought about the idea of learning Japanese from a language other than English.
Yeah.
I've only thought about the English to Japanese pipeline, Like I can't, like the idea of a French person learning Japanese, I'm like, that's impossible. You have to learn English and then you can, like there's like a line.
Yeah, totally. I feel like some of the like a lot of the sounds in like the Japanese language, just speaking specifically like phonetically, I feel like that's like they're very compatible for English speakers. Like there's some differences, like we say R like and they say it like a kind of noise, like an R tap, There's stuff like that, but like for the most part, you can wrap your head around Japanese pronunciation pretty easily. I don't think that would be the same for someone who spoke like French or Russian or something like that. I think they'd have like a much harder time.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Huh.
Very interesting. I wonder, I'm sure I could find someone who knows those 2 languages.
Yeah. Hey, if you've learned Japanese from another language, let us know. Because that's so interesting.
Yeah.
I only know weebs who have learned Japanese from English.
Yeah.
Which also, I don't know anyone who doesn't speak English, really. So,
yeah, huh?
I have no other frame of reference.
I know family members, like I have some family members that don't speak a whole lot of English, but I don't think they speak a whole lot of Japanese either. So
yeah, dang it.
Yeah.
Well, tell them to go learn and then tell us what it's like.
Yeah. I'll tell them in my broken Mandinka, like, hey, go learn Spanish for me. I got to know something. Maybe have my dad
go
translate.
learn Japanese for me. Let's go together.
Then we can communicate.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so where the fuck were we?
Right.
Episode 2, he gets beer. He meets
Shizuka.
Miss Risk Analysis.
That's the one.
Is what he calls her in the translation there. Who's like my only ding against the show that I really have is when the second episode spends the second half reliving the second episode from her perspective. I was like, I already saw this.
Yeah, I feel like I was cool with the parts where like parts showing her life that like were kind of separate from what we saw already, like, you know, seeing her how she kind of lived in her apartment and stuff like that, and she had this very like rigid like routine lifestyle kind of thing going on to like stay sharp and all that. When she meets what's his ass in the gas station, there's like 2 bits where I'm like, oh, that's what she was thinking, and the rest is like, we didn't need this.
Yeah, it felt very unnecessary, and it did make me a little worried about where the show was going. Unfounded by the end of it, but it was definitely like, I don't know, this feels very repetitive.
Yeah, definitely. Also, shout out, we have not 1 but 2 runaway Resident Evil 2 trucks.
We do. Yeah, and I loved the one in the third episode where it's the dude with the burger and he's got the Resident Evil Doberman next to him as he's driving the truck into a fire.
I swear that has to be intentional.
Oh, 100%.
Because like the one in Resident Evil 2, at least the remake, is eating a burger when that happens.
Yeah, well, and you can't have of all the dogs you could choose.
Yeah.
Why does he have a dog and why does he have the Resident Evil dog? It's got to be.
Yeah.
I guess that's the 4th episode. Because the 3rd episode is where he rescues his best friend,
that's right.
Kensho.
That's right.
I really liked that character.
Me too.
Yeah,
that guy's cool.
He gets naked all the time.
Like so much.
That's like his main bit.
I was saying, I think it's some sort of self-gratifying thing. I think he gets some sort of pleasure from people seeing him naked.
Yeah, it's got to be
beyond like it, because he's doing it as like a comedic bit. It's like you know, because I've seen some Japanese comedy stuff and there's a lot of male nudity in it. I think that's just a, you know, real funny thing. You know, same with Jackass or whatever, right?
You know, male nudity's funny.
It is, yeah. Men's bodies are just kind of funny looking. Yeah. You know. And then you put them in a wacky situation on top of that. That's peak comedy for you.
Yep.
I mean, that worked for how many seasons of Jackass, right? Like it's easy. But yeah, he gets naked every episode reliably.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
And I really liked it. I really liked it in the 3rd episode because I liked that he's like, I'm going to become a stand-up comedian. And then his like metamorphosis involves him, like he throws off his clothes, you know, in the same way that the main character Akira throws off like his tie.
Oh, you're right.
It's kind of the same thing, except he's throwing off everything.
Yeah, it's like a visual metaphor, but for him, it's like the whole thing's gotta go.
Yeah, he's reborn.
Yeah, and I don't think he's ever able to get those clothes, like those clothes or any of the other clothes he discards. I don't think he's usually able to get them back. I think he has to get new outfits quite frequently.
Yeah. Now that I think about it, I haven't really thought too much about their outfits, but I remember looking at that guy and being like, he's got some good outfits. Yeah. It's a shame that he's throwing them all over the place.
Yeah, exactly. You know? Like I think the jacket that he's got on, like by the end of episode 6, I think that's the one like we see him in the OP wearing that stuff. But like the thing that stood out to me was Shizuka, the Miss Risk Analysis. She doesn't change clothes ever. She is wearing that like track meet like get up and like sometimes a jacket like very consistently. Yeah. Which I think is very like it feels like it almost clashes with her character a little bit. She's like so serious and mathematical and stuff, and she's wearing a bright pink like sprinter's jersey or whatever. Yeah, and on top of that, like is that the same bit of clothing? Like how hygienic are you being? Yeah, that's a very good point. Because her character's whole thing is that like whereas Akira and Kensho are like, let's live our lives to the fullest while we're still alive. Yeah. She's like, I have to make choices that'll keep me alive. Yeah, totally. She has a book titled 100 Ways to Not Become a Zombie or something like that. Yeah, to avoid becoming a zombie. Yeah. So which is like almost like the opposite of his. Almost. You know? Yeah. Yeah, I dug
I really liked her character though, especially as she kind of comes around to the main characters.
Yeah.
All that. Really was surprised at how heavy episode 4 ended up being, where they're like
the flight attendants.
with the flight attendants.
Yeah.
Yeah, where they're like, because the main characters are trying to get a flat screen TV is their whole thing.
That's right.
And he also Kira wants to go on a date with a girl, and they end up having this like party in a department store because they're surrounded by zombies. So they're like, all right, let's just hold out, let's just hang out.
Yeah.
And at first it's like, I loved the dynamic, right? There's these 3 flight attendant girls, there's Kensho and Akira, and then there's this other dude who's been there ahead of time.
Yeah.
And he's terrified.
He is,
So
he's catatonic practically. He's just saying like, it's over, it's over, it's over.
yeah, and it's so funny with Kensho and Akira. They're like, oh, we're having this date with this girls. Oh, we're doing this. Oh, this is so great. Oh,
Yeah.
And this other guy's like, oh, we're all gonna die. We're all fucked.
Like
Like,
nobody like bothers to check up on him really.
No.
Like, hey man, you're saying that a lot. Everything, like, you know what I mean? Like, he's just like, he's just let him drink over there. He'll be fine.
yep.
Until it turns out he's been hiding a zombie bite, and then shit
Yeah.
goes south.
Which is interesting too, because that's the first time we see a zombie bite turn somebody like long term into a zombie.
Yeah, because
Though, like a zombie wound causes. Because every other zombie is basically somebody who's being eaten getting turned into a zombie.
oh yeah.
You know, that's what we see earlier in the show. So I was like borderline wondering if scratches and bites turned you into a zombie.
Well, yeah, because they're very fast and loose with like a lot of the detail, and like not like they need to be otherwise, but like because so like Akira has that that girl the lady coworker who's like sleeping with his boss or whatever, and he goes to like rescue her essentially, and then finds the boss who's been turned, and it turns out she's like in the process of turning as well. So like
Yeah.
that bite couldn't have happened more than, you know, a minute or two ago, and she's already turned.
Yeah.
This guy has been sitting around for ostensibly hours with the zombie bite, and then he turns, and then he bites one of the airline the flight attendant ladies, and she turns within a matter of minutes as well.
Right.
Which I guess based on this pattern, men are much more resistant to the zombie virus. I don't think that's actually it, but you know, based on what we've seen.
I think they're going with whatever builds the most drama in the situation.
And it doesn't have to mathematically check out.
Yeah.
That wouldn't improve the show by any means.
Totally, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't need hard and fast rules. I don't need a character to sit down like, this is how the zombies work.
Yeah.
Like, I don't give a shit. You know?
Yeah.
Like, I care about the characters. And I think that's what this show gets right, is that the characters matter. The rules about zombies really don't.
I do think that if they were to try and work in more like really dramatic moments like that it could end up being a factor. Because like I think about 28 Days Later and the part where the dad he like looks up at the thing and he gets a drop of blood in his eye, and he knows he is seconds away from turning, and like that is a big thing. Like he's like, his daughter's trying to run to him, and he's like, you stay back, and he's like trying to fight it, and we know he is doomed. Like any second now he's turning.
Yeah.
I feel like that changes a little bit when it could be 5 minutes, it could be 6 hours, we don't know.
Yeah.
But
absolutely.
yeah, I mean, who knows if it gets to that. And they could easily write in one line of dialogue where it's like, you have between 20 minutes and an hour before you turn or whatever. Like they could fix that so easily. It's not a ding at all, I don't think.
Totally.
But I could see a situation in which someone could fuck that up a bit.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And yeah. Yeah, I'm not stressing about it at this point. I think there's 12 episodes to this show, so we'll see if it matters. I don't know if they're planning on a season 2.
Well, with the stuff that's going on with the studio, I'd be surprised at this point. But I'd like to see a season 2.
I guess so. Yeah.
Yeah. Because we haven't even gotten to see the blonde lady from the OP, the samurai one.
That's the funny thing is like the second episode has the ending theme that shows the 4 main characters essentially, and one of them never shows up in these first 6 episodes. I was like, all right, well, I guess they will eventually.
Yeah, and it's kind of a bummer because like I really like the EDs, like the shots of them like having a good time and hanging and being real good buds, and like we didn't really get to see any of that just because we haven't watched far enough to the series.
Wouldn't it be a fucking great subversion if the blonde samurai girl never showed up?
They were planning her for season 2, and it just never happens.
Well, or that's just not a character. They're just trying to trick you.
That's Kensho comes up with like an imaginary hottie he wants to hang out with or something, and then she's just not real.
She's just not in the show.
Yeah, that's the only context. Yeah, I think that would be good. There's what's it? Death Parade. Its OP is like so. Have you seen Death Parade?
Like the first episode.
Yeah. Okay. So like the Death Parade OP is like so fun. It is all just like the main characters hanging out, having a blast. They're drinking, they're partying, they're doing karaoke, they're playing games, all that. None of that fucking happens in the series at all. It is so sad.
Well, and like, I mean, well, you know, and same for Reincarnated as a Vending Machine, you know, that nothing fun ever happened in that show.
Nothing fucking happens in that show.
Same guys who did the Death Parade. So, you know, that's why I bring that one up.
Yeah, pretty much.
I guess to kind of wrap things up here, I liked the aquarium episode in the 5th episode where the shark has eaten divers, but the divers their legs are protruding from the shark, so now the shark can basically run around.
Yeah, but the shark seems still alive, or undead anyway.
Yeah,
and they work with phenomenal coordination. Like the shark wants to go get you, and those 3 pairs of legs are like, we're on it, and they all run in perfect coordination towards their target. They had a real thing going for them. I almost felt sad to see him go down.
Yeah, I really like that, because it's like the zombies can just be whatever. You know, like make it silly, make it fun, whatever.
Totally.
I really liked that.
Yeah.
And then the last episode is fucking so heavy. We ended on a cliffhanger without even knowing it was coming.
Right, yeah.
Where he runs into his old manager, essentially, who's become the leader of like a nightmare gang.
Yeah, and he's like, he's extorting people. He puts out spike strips, and they get their tires popped, and Kensho gets hurt because he falls off his motorcycle. And then the guy's like, "Hey, work for us for a couple of days. We'll patch you up, get you some new tires." And you know what? I got the feeling it's not going to be that easy.
It's not going to be that easy. I think what I really like about that character's return is that it builds on like the nightmare work conditions of like, things sound reasonable, and then you do them and holy shit does it suck.
And
actually like you're being tricked.
Totally.
Know? And like when Akira is making the beers cold for everybody, and he's using a generator, and the guy gets mad, but then he turns it into like, no, I want everybody to have a cold beer or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like, they're not doing this because they care about you. They're doing it for some other reason.
Yeah,
you know?
Totally.
And
just pretending to be magnanimous to like, you know, make the best out of that situation and come out looking like the good guy.
Yeah, like they wanna look good so that you'll work harder. You know?
Yeah, and it's really interesting because like Akira, or let's say Kensho, when he sort of casts off his shackles in that visual metaphor, like he kind of comes to this great, like, you know, realization about like what he's been doing and what he wants and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then he does it. Like Akira, by comparison, I think kind of gets to just, he gets it sort of thrust upon him. It's like, oh, I don't have to go to work, sick. And then like he sees his boss and he goes like, hey, I quit. And that's, you know, like it's a big thing. Even though the boss is a zombie, he didn't understand any of that.
Yeah.
But this, like for Akira, I think has to be like a really big breakthrough moment because like, you know, he was able to sort of be freed from his thing, but now he's got to be able to free himself.
Yeah. Which
I'm sure that's going to be cool.
I really like that when like the manager guy is like talking to him, Akira knows that he doesn't want to do what the guy's saying, but he like can't bring himself to fight against it. He's like, why can't I speak up? Why is my throat dry?
Yeah.
Why do I feel this way? You know, it's because he was like conditioned and beat down from his job previously.
Yeah, and his back is really against the wall there. You know, Kensho is hurt, and they're not going to be able to get their shit replaced anyway. Zombies are en route on like at that moment. You know?
What the manager is presenting on the surface doesn't sound that terrible.
Yeah,
right? Like I want you to do 2 days of work. Okay, I can do 2 days of work.
Yeah, easy enough.
But that's not fucking gonna happen.
Yeah, no,
you know, 100%.
So yeah, I'm very curious to see where that goes.
Yeah, I really hope so we don't end on a cliffhanger too often. Where do you think the show is going?
Well, I think that Akira breaks free of the boss. Like I think that's probably what happens next episode. I think the boss definitely does try to like extort him into, you know, working for longer, or maybe it's just the 2 days are up and he's like, yeah, you're not getting your shit. What are you stupid?
Yeah, what the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah. I think something like that happens. My question is, does Akira himself get into an altercation with Kosugi, the boss, or is it Kosugi's own like hubris and you know idiocy that like gets him eaten by zombies or something like that? You know what I mean?
Yeah. I hope it's kind of a combination of two.
Yeah.
I want it because he's employing zombies essentially. Yeah. I would love to see him get eaten by zombies.
You know what? I think that's exactly what happens.
It's got to be that. Yeah. Right? That's just the most thematic thing that could happen.
Yeah. Eat the rich. You know.
Yeah. Hey, thank you, zombies.
Yeah.
They're not all bad.
That's praxis right there.
Zombie praxis.
That's a whole nother anime title right there.
Zombie praxis. Exactly that kind of rules, yeah.
But a whole bunch of communist zombies. That'd be a fun watch.
Yeah, count me in. I could be a communist zombie. I could do that.
That'd be fun, you know. How about you? You have any other predictions for where the show goes?
Outside of the guy getting eaten by zombies, I don't feel like I do think that should the show end at episode 12, I do think Akira is going to get like bit and be like, but no, I lived a good life. I did the things that I wanted to do.
Oh, interesting.
Goodbye, friends. That's my only like hot take call.
Because
otherwise I agree. I think that he's gonna fight off the guys and all that. But assuming the show is supposed to end at episode 12, I think that's what the ending is.
Yeah, as
so
far
he's
as
gonna die,
story.
but he's not upset necessarily.
I'm kind of thinking that I don't think that he will, or at least not right now. I could see that happening in like if they did like a 24, 26 episode season, but like this, I mean, God, there's so like we still haven't, like I said, we still haven't met that fourth main character yet. You know what I mean?
That's the funniest thing. Assuming they're real.
Yeah, assuming, yeah. And also, like, I feel like Kensho has his dream of being a stand-up comic, and Akira has his dream of being a superhero because that's what he wanted when he was a kid. And I think that a part of his journey is going to be kind of learning to live for himself in the here and now and understand, like, you know, pursue a dream that is, you know, what he wants now and not what he wanted when he was 10 or whatever.
Got it.
So my guess is that his character arc is going to be finding that and acting on it, and I feel like 6 episodes isn't a lot of time to do that. Yeah, in a satisfying way.
It does seem like there's got to be a second season. Like that's what the arc is. The whole larger plot is planning around.
Yeah, so I think that's what the plan has been. Who knows if it actually happens?
We'll see. Like we were talking about.
Yeah. Fingers crossed. I want to see more of this.
Yeah, honestly, the show's great. It's nice to see a show that's both visually exciting and its story is good.
Yeah.
Oftentimes I feel like you end up with one or the other. It's nice to get that taste of both.
Totally. I think the writing and the presentation of it have been really solid.
And speaking of presentation, I just got to bring up too, I love the facial animations throughout this show.
Oh yeah.
Like they really nailed it's like the modern like sweat drop, angry face, like all that stuff. They found really fun ways to get those ideas across without just resorting to like the cliches.
The one where it's the one with the flight attendants, he like asks her if she's got a boyfriend, and then later on she's like, oh, to answer your question from earlier, I do have a boyfriend. I'm hoping he's still alive and I want to see him again. And Akira's like face, his like eyes and his nose and his mouth start like drifting out of place on his face. So fucking good.
That was really fucking funny. And I also really liked too in episode 5 when he tells Kensho like I want to be a superhero, and then Kensho just like stares at him with like just this like perfect like blank look. Yeah. And he's like, no, I want to be a superhero. He's like, I heard you. Yeah.
It's so good.
There's a lot of that kind of stuff that I think just works so great.
Totally. Yeah, it's a really funny show for sure. Like probably one of the funnier ones we've watched on this show. Intentionally funny, no less.
Yes. Yeah, that's the important thing. Yeah. It's also interesting, too, because it's like, I think this is a show that if you put it on in the background while you were doing something else, you would not enjoy it nearly as much. This is like, I think you really need to like watch this show.
I agree, yeah. Yeah, it's like pretty tightly paced also. Like I feel like a lot has happened in 6 episodes.
Absolutely. Yeah, I've really enjoyed these.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure whatever we rate it will be a shock to everyone.
Yeah.
But we've got our rating system. Keep watching, and total garbage. Bakari, what are you giving this show?
I'm giving it. I can't even make the fucking joke. I'm gonna keep watching it. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm in the same boat. I want to do something funny here, but like, no, I really have no major issues with the show.
Yeah.
The fact that it's only like another 6 episodes, I'm like fully on board.
Yeah, totally.
And I think even if I knew that somehow it was going to be more, I think I read so there was a manga beforehand, and it had 12 volumes, I believe. I looked up before I put my phone on a tripod over there. So there could, in theory, be a decent amount of episodes. But I'm on board. If they're all of this caliber, I really like it.
Yeah, totally. I heard something.
My fridge made a weird noise.
Oh, yeah. Gotcha. Yeah, I would. I'm like almost a little sad for it, like in advance, because I feel like whatever production issues they're having are going to like affect the quality of the show or affect its like viability for a season 2.
Yeah.
And that's a bummer because I'm enjoying it, and like at the rate it's going, I don't see myself not enjoying it through these 12 episodes. You know.
Totally.
Yeah, been wrong before, but you know, yeah. So far, so good.
Yeah, you never know.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, this is. I think we should do in July. We should do another ranking of the episodes that we've watched in the last couple of years.
Yeah.
Because we didn't do an anniversary rating episode last year. And maybe we just do it every couple of years, you know?
Yeah,
That's
that makes
when we
sense.
get enough in. But I think we should do another one this year. And I just spoil it. This is probably going to be pretty high for me. I'm going to fight you pretty hard on keeping this one high on the list.
I'd have to look back through what we've watched since the last ranking episode. I don't know if this would be a number 1 for me, but like it's definitely up there.
It's definitely, yeah.
Top 5 easy.
Totally. Same boat. Yeah. Damn. Good fucking dude. I'm so glad that we were like, let's watch a show that we'll probably enjoy, and then we watched a show that we actually enjoyed.
And we enjoyed it. How about that?
This could have gone south so bad.
I feel like because we were looking at this, we were looking at Birdie Wing Golf. We were looking at what were the other 2?
Well, the big one that I'm thinking about is like we were like, let's watch a battle anime, and then our friend Peter recommended, hey, we should watch the Yu Yu Hakusho live action one, and I was just like, thanks for putting that fucking curse on us. And when you were like, well, no, we should bring Peter on for the episode, I was like, oh yeah, we didn't coordinate that.
Yeah.
But also, I'm not sad to not watch that show.
Yeah, that can happen some other time. I think
we'll make it happen. I want to make it happen.
Yeah.
But I'm not excited to watch that show.
Yeah, me neither.
Yeah.
I'm very curious. I hear it like starts out and you think like, oh, this seems like it'll be pretty good, and then it fucking falls hard.
My favorite genre right there.
Yeah, I think I'm pretty sure he fights Toguro in the show, which it's like 5 or 6 episodes. So I don't know how fuck that works.
Oh no.
Because I'm just put myself on blast here. I'm watching Yu Yu Hakusho very slowly, and I like Toguro has been introduced, but he hasn't like done anything of significant importance yet. And I'm couple few dozen episodes in.
You got through the mansion fight with him where they're trying to rescue the ice girl.
I'm in the process of that.
Okay,
I think they're like about to get to her.
They have a brief battle with them.
They will scrap there. He doesn't do the transformation though.
No.
Okay. Because he does do that in the show in the live action.
Jesus Christ!
It looks awful.
Why does this exist?
I'm so excited. It's gonna be great.
Yeah. All right. Hey, Peter, if you're watching this episode, get on down here because apparently that's a thing we're gonna do. So let's get into plugs in a second here. But I just want to say, next episode we're gonna do our traditional Valentine's Day episode. We're gonna bring our favorite girls on here.
That's right.
And yeah, it'll be fun.
Yeah. We'll have to figure out what we're watching, but
Yeah, no spoilers, but Sign of Affection sounds like it could be a winner.
Yeah.
My only issue with Sign of Affection is that sounds like it could be like a good show.
The first episode, I've only seen the first episode, but it was very good.
Yeah, and that's kind of my main beef. I enjoy suffering on a certain level as much as I just complained about the Yu Yu Hakusho. So yeah, it'll probably be that one.
Yeah, I mean we could try to find some shittier romance stuff.
Yeah, we could.
You want to watch some like School Days? Wait, we would if we watched School Days, we'd have to like watch all of it because it only gets really fucked up in the end.
We'll just watch the last few episodes with no context.
No context. Yeah.
But yeah, we're doing Valentine's Day next episode. Let's do plugs and let's wrap this up.
Yeah. I am going to be featured on another Brie Carmel track in the near future. I don't know when it comes out yet. I'm still working on my part for it. So, yeah. But by the time this comes out, it may very well be live or soon to be live. So maybe we'll post a update about that in the description or something. Meanwhile, you can go to my Bandcamp. I looked it up. 8mammoth.bandcamp.com.
Hey.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
There you go. So you can go listen to my album Pockets there. I do the music for the intro and outro for this podcast and among other things. So check that out.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you can follow me on Twitter, 8mammoth. No, twitter.com/8mammoth. Why can't we just follow one URL convention for these things?
I don't
Frustrating
know,
to have to know all
it's
these.
on you, man.
Yeah. But at 8mammoth on Twitter or X if you're bad.
Fucking dude, I've been off Twitter for like a while.
Yeah.
Somebody sent me a link to like a tweet and it said x.com and my gut reaction was, did they accidentally send me porn?
Who knows?
Who knows?
Click it and find out.
It wasn't, but I was very skeptical for a brief moment. I'm on Instagram. I'm just gonna post it down in the description below because I can't remember what it is.
Yeah.
But I post on there every once in a while. There's that, and you can follow this channel here. You can subscribe to our YouTube channel. We're on Podbean as well. I think we're on Spotify. Yeah, this YouTube is dominantly where we post and everything. So if you have any questions, if you have any comments you want to make, let us know on there and we'll try to respond. And we always appreciate it.
Yeah.
So yeah, another welcome to 2024 Battle School Dropouts.
First one of the year on the books.
Yeah.
Looking good. We got multiple camera angles now.
Oh, I feel so embarrassed to not think of this before, but it's like, yeah, we can just use our phones. Like that's gonna look better, and I don't have to deal with like my camera, my computer, anything like that. Like, obviously I got the laptop camera up there, thinking about you, buddy. But yeah, and I think I know I've been saying this for like the last like 6 months, but I think we're figuring out this video.
I think
it's coming together.
Yeah, we're getting there.
Yeah,
making things happen.
We got to get a photo though. You've got a proper tripod for your phone. I've got a tripod that I've taped my phone to. They look very different.
But I mean, hey, it is doing the thing you need it to do.
It's doing the thing I needed to do.
That phone has not moved an inch.
Yeah, it better not have.
Yeah.
Watch the fucking video.
It's just pointed at our feet the whole time. Get the foot
more
down.
feet pics.
Yeah.
Oh shit. Well, go watch Zom 100, everybody.
Yeah. Good app.
Good app.
Bye.